And we're live! Let's not use up our one free F word, draw F bomb right at the beginning yet. No, no. The less said about hamsters, the better right now. It feels like we've all been drinking, and we haven't. Ah, not yet. I'm saving my beer for the interlude. Okay, which means we're all gonna go even more nutty than right now. Hello everyone. We're gonna get started very shortly. We're just doing the usual thing with the live stream. We hit the go live button, and anyone who has hit the who follows the channel or who has signed up for notifications for this episode will get the alert, and we'll just give them a couple of minutes to join, and then we'll get going. Um, yeah, I guess just to start things off very briefly, last session we did an impromptu I don't know what you would call it. We basically ran something that was not published, whereas the kind of concept for this campaign from the beginning has been to run through the official saga of in the book, and there are big stretches of sometimes months in between some of the sessions. So yeah, we kind of ran something that was focusing a little bit more on the characters, not feeling like we had to hit certain story beats to progress the story along. And it went really well. I think all of us really enjoyed it. And as a result, I'm going to be slowing the pace down in general, which means in my prep for this episode, I have looked at how I can maybe there's potentially a lot that could be happening according to what the official thing is meant to be, and I've decided to take a step back and to slow it down a little bit as well. So it could be that we're going to finish at under 3 hours, and if so, that's fine, because there's a very specific endpoint I have in mind for this session, and if we hit it, that would be a nice place to leave it. Kind of, we'll see, we'll see. But I also had a discussion. I was interviewed for a podcast yesterday, and specifically for Outgunned, the Outgunned Assistant Director book, which I wrote, and this game is very much related to it. And we ended up talking about this campaign, and talking about that impromptu session, that kind of open-ended sandbox thing. And the guys I was talking to, they're running a household campaign, and they're doing completely their own thing with all the stuff that's happening from the saga in the background. And I thought, that's a really cool way to do things, because then you're not beholden to the official adventures. You can just enjoy yourselves, take it at your own pace. You can pick and choose from all these different, over 100 of these different like scenario outlines of things that are happening, and just do your own sandbox. So it might be that after we finish this chapter, we might start delving into that a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. I'll probably talk to you guys to see what you think as well, whether you'd rather experience the full campaign as it's written, or if you want to do your own thing. Hi, Maria. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so I think I've rattled on enough for now for people to kind of join in. So we left the last session with you all trying to go after this mysterious murderer who vanished without a trace, almost without a trace, I should say, because you did get some very good rolls in there. And yeah, he kind of just disappeared, more or less. And there was a chat with Gwen, if you remember, where she told you about this guy from sort of a mythological figure from the Littling folklore. And does anybody remember the name of that character? Yep. Yep. By another one specific suitor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Testing. Oh. Yep. None of you can be heard. Let's just figure out what's going on very quickly here with the desktop audio.
Hamsters.
You're on now. You're on.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, if I do the recap, this was I think it's some kind of a fairy tale or a boogeyman tale around the hearth of Herman and Estelle, like a star-crossed lover couple between a fairy noble firstborn called Estelle and a humble boggart called Herman, and they comes the recap, and they had a they had a love. They were in love, and but there was another suitor of Estelle, like another noble fairy, very noble man, who kidnapped her, and I think some kind tortured her until she burned, while Herman tried to kill his goonies, or
Not quite. Not quite.
he was also chained against the wall.
They
and
were
he had a
both
locket
chained
with a
up.
painting.
They're both chained up.
Yeah, they were both chained up, and he had a locket with a picture of Estelle, and then they burned.
They threw the lockets, so they each had a locket of each other, and there was like a bunch of thugs who'd captured Herman, and they were gonna kill him, but before they killed him, they went through his pockets to see if he had anything valuable, and all they found was a locket, and in their anger at not finding any loot, they threw it into their campfire. And at the same moment, so the story goes, Estelle's locket was burned by her jealous suitor, who had her chained in his bedchambers, which is very, very weird and creepy. And at that moment, their chains lit on fire, burnt away, and they kind of also, so the saying goes, like she burnt the house down, but the suitor got away, and I think the thugs also ran for their lives. So that was the fire. That's how the fire tied in.
And the story is now
also the very, very important fiery lancetta.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what Santiago is interested in.
Because like Herman is now running around chasing the suitor and the goons with his burning lancetta, because he perished in flames, as did Estelle. And as far as I remember it, both of them wander, or are said to wander, the hearth as fiery ghosts, but always missing each other, right?
Yep, they're looking for each other and trying to get their revenge on those who separated them. But they're fated never to meet. And they both have a fiery lancetta. That's the
Oh, she also
thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't see her, of course, because if this was Herman that you saw, then of course he wasn't with her. Assuming that the fable is, of course, true. Anyway, that was our session. That was for those interested in the GMing side of things, that was a kind of throwaway little story, mystery it's called, that took up like 1.5 pages. So we just kind of pulled that out and kind of just, dropped a little plot hook in there and see if you would run with it. And that was good. It was good. So I really, really enjoyed that, and I think we'll probably be looking at doing something like that in the future. And we'll have a little talk about that. Ourselves after this session, perhaps after the next 2 sessions, because this might be a 2-parter. Okay, so it's been I want to say it's been a few weeks since that happened. So we're gonna assume that everyone has at various points, other than Santiago, because I'm going to show some artwork from Jakob here. Santiago has wanted signs of him up all over the place. But as you're going to see... Oh, that should be on top. 1 second. They can't quite get his nose right, unfortunately.
So, actually.
Yeah.
Good God.
But specifically the nose, I think you've been fixating on, right, Rasmus?
Yeah, and the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah,
the chin.
Yeah.
And the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Because
facial hair, I guess, as well. There were
'Cause I
actually
imagine,
7
like-
of these, but I have only uploaded the 3, so for just because I ran out of time.
They're fantastic. Ha,
So
I've
yeah.
only seen one.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll show you the rest of them afterwards. There's even one with a duck bill.
Yes, it's a surprise.
Sorry, I just ruined the surprise.
Never mind.
My favorite one.
We'll have plenty of time.
So because of that, Santiago is lying low, even though the chance of him, being recognized is probably not super high. But it is still fairly soon after the events that happened, and they are looking for at least a slua, and that means it's probably you have to change your hat. That's one thing, but yeah, Jakob.
Yeah. Also, I imagine because of the different faces. That Humphrey was kidnapped in our little heist to keep up the charade, and then he was, heavily questioned by the sheriff, and Humphrey was like, I don't know, his scarf just slipped, but it was so dark, and maybe he had such a nose and a beard, or didn't he have a beard? I don't know, and trying to be a little bit incompetent and distract the sheriff's goons, and this is the secret behind the different and very absurd wanted posters, because in the meantime Humphrey went a little bit wild with his imagination. Trying to help out Santiago somehow.
Yeah. So it's been now. I'm assuming that at least Litha and Humphrey have been out trying to see if they can pick up the trail from this possible Herman guy. But you wouldn't have, of course. So tell me...
Did Litha show up to the meeting? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, which meeting?
Well, we wanted to meet, of course, to go hunting. Also, we are looking for this rat to get into the den.
Did she turn up for the meeting?
But did Litha turn up for the meeting?
Of course she did.
Yeah, there are terrible things happening, I heard.
He was
Pardon?
early.
Okay.
So it's been a couple of weeks now since we ended that last session, and I want to kind of ask what each of you have been up to. But before we go into that, there's a couple of things you need to be aware of. One is that Gwen has cracked the cipher for the map, and she is adamant that it is pointing deep into the heart of the Pinewood Forest. And yeah, the Pinewood, for those of you who haven't read the book or see anything about the book, there is, I don't actually have a map I can show, unfortunately, ready, but there is a in the hearth, which is this region, the living room of the house, there is effectively a fallen down Christmas tree that takes up it's kind of like a centerpiece for the entire hearth. No matter where you are in the hearth, in the living room, you can see, parts of the tree. It's like a mountain. It's like you're in southern Germany, and you can always see the Alps in a certain area, right? It's all kind of visible from wherever you are. So there's this massive pine tree, and it's called the Pinewood Forest because obviously for Littlings it is like a dense forest. It's full of dangers, of course, because it's a dark forest, and dark forests are full of evil things, right? So it's not something that people wander into lightly. Usually it's people like hunters or mostly hunters, I think, who would go in there, or expeditions that have hunters with them that are looking for something very specific. There's special types of mushrooms that might grow in there that are very rare, that some people might want to gather for whatever reasons, like alchemists or chefs, I guess, maybe. Hunters will want to go in there after some kind of rare beasties that they might want to bag and bring back as trophies. So it's a kind of a dangerous place, and that's exactly where this map is pointing to, the very heart of the Pinewood Forest. So Gwen is completely oblivious to the dangers of this place because she's so excited about having cracked the cipher, and she believes it's Argo's tomb, like where he's buried. So I want to, because Humphrey, you're probably the closest to her. I want to know how you may have been potentially trying to prepare her for this expedition. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. Oh,
because
okay.
the other thing I want to quickly talk about, you have to think about that. The other thing I want to talk about are the terrible, terrible things, because there are still terrible, 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 terrible things attached to Letha and Santiago. And I rolled a d6 on the table that's relevant for your level. Unfortunately, there are only 6 entries, which means there's bound to be some repetition. And Santiago got the same result as last time, which is he got robbed and he lost 2 gold or 2 coin. And how much coin did Santiago have in his inventory?
This time he actually had 2 coins.
Oh, he actually had 2. So now you've got a grand total of 0 again.
Exactly. Yes.
So I guess one thing we'll come back to you. I want to kind of talk about what's been happening, and then we'll go back and we'll go back to Humphrey first, then Santiago, and then Letha. So you have a little chance to think about things. But what I want to know from Santiago is the same person targeting you, or are you just very unlucky? So have a think about that. I'll let you kind of decide on how you want to play it. And Letha has had a I just need to pull up. I'll read it actually because it's kind of a funny one.
Yeah.
It's you meet someone you used to know. They waste a lot of your time. And for me, the obvious one that jumped into mind was Tubo, because he and Letha are kind of like, their backstories are very much very, very close. You were kind of close friends, did everything together, and you left him behind injured in the first session to kind of join Gwen and the other 2 players on this expedition. So that was my thinking, is that maybe he came back, but that isn't really a negative thing, because he's like an OP tank. So he'd actually be quite useful to have around. He wouldn't really be wasting your time. It'd be more like, oh, come with us, please. So that's one thing you need. When we come back to you, I want you to kind of talk about maybe who's suddenly popped up in Chesterfield and has been kind of nagging at you and, cramping your style, or, just whatever. So have a think about that. Let's jump back over to Jakob then. And I kind of want you to let us know what's been happening with Gwen.
So, Miss Summers, I can only repeat myself. The Pine Tree Forest is an extremely dangerous place, and not to be messed with.
I understand. That's why you're coming. That's why you'll protect me. It's fine. Spiders, roaches, centipedes, rats. I don't know what. There could be anything in there. I understand.
The thing is, Miss Summers, the Pine Tree Forest is extremely dense, and you can't see farther than a few tiny meters ahead. So it's very important someone of us scouts ahead, scouts the way and looks for potential dangers, while the rest of the group follows behind. Probably a bit slower because all of the package. I've been there a few times, Miss Summers, and it was not a pleasant stay, but I know my ways around there. But I trust Letha to lead you while I'll scout ahead.
Oh, Letha is a very competent hunter and guide. I have no worries that we'll be very safe. And if something does creep up on us, well, that's why Santiago will be with me as well to stab it with that fancy sword of his. Letha's got that gun. If you hear a gunshot from behind,
I would really like you to not creep on anything by yourself. If there is anything interesting sticking out, like a fungi that has a funny color, like a wiggling thing coming out of the bushes or something like that, or an interesting sphere hanging from the trees, do not approach by yourself. Check with the group and let the others check for dangers.
Well,
and don't stop for too long a time at a spot.
Okay, too long. Yes, a quick sketch. There'll be time for a quick sketch. I hear you.
There will be not.
I
Do
won't
not
bring
drink any
my
water.
colored pastels. I'll just bring my charcoals. That way I won't try and do the color. All right, I'll
not
meet you
dr- do
halfway.
not
I'll meet
drink
you
any-
halfway, Humphrey. I understand. It's dangerous. Charcoals only.
Don't drink any water from standing from standing waters. Don't eat anything you don't know.
Okay. We'll bring our own water
And-
with us. We'll bring our own rations
Leah.
with us.
And most importantly, there is a part of the woods called the Dreadwoods. The closer we get to the cracked window, we probably end up there somehow. And the master, let's hope that the master protects that we don't go there. There is people go missing, and those that come back are changed,
Well,
sick.
it's interesting you say that, Humphrey, because if you look here on the map, this little squiggle here, it looks, if you imagine a cloud, it looks a bit like a cloud, doesn't it? And the cipher does say Dreadwood here, so our route does pass through the Dreadwood. So
It's bad. This is bad,
It's-
Miss Summers.
all I'm hearing is that it's a strange place, and I'll have to be very fast with my sketching, but there are probably lots of things to sketch in there as well. So
Miss Summers, there will be no sketching of the Dreadwood because you
Well.
can't see farther than the hand before your eyes. If we venture into the Dreadwood, we should cover our mouths and noses. The mist is dangerous, can cause any kinds of illness. And when the fog goes denser, we should tie each other together, just we don't get lost in the fog.
Well, Humphrey, I'll
And-
leave the preparations to you in terms of what to take with us. It sounds like rope and masks and goggles might be in order, something like that. Fine. I'll wear them. That's fine. But I need to have my hands free in case I need to sketch something. So
Yeah. Humphrey makes a mental notice just to make Gwen's stuff get lost somehow into
I mean,
another.
you'll have to have
other
at least
person's
one.
rucksack.
You'll have to have at least one camp before you're getting into the heart, even
Yeah.
before you get to the Dreadwood. So
Yeah, yeah.
campfires,
So
books, they don't go together.
her
too well, do
belongings
they?
will be mispackaged into Humphrey's stuff and will be given back at the end of the expedition. And the last thing Humphrey wants to get are like little whistles. That if someone is in danger, if someone gets lost, if someone is in danger, we have whistles just to, well, attract each other. Probably a lot of other creepy crawlies, but and it's could fail because the sound just halts through the forest and makes more difficult to locate. But Humphrey has probably no better idea than the acoustic signal. So yeah, I would get masks, goggles, whistles, and all the ration and light sources and water stuff we need.
I think just we can kind of hand wave a lot of this, and let's just say that it's going to cost a grand total of 3 coin. So however you
Okay,
want to
so
how you want to
Gwen
split
is-
that. Gwen will
Gwen finance the expedition.
Gwen will put 1 coin towards it.
Ah, how generous.
But she does
Yeah,
tell
so-
you. She does tell you that she realizes that she's been perhaps pushing the, she's been stretching the terms of her contract with you, and she promises you that this expedition will culminate in the fulfillment of your contract to her, assuming you can keep her safe
Okay.
and her belongings safe. So she's
And
kind
she
of like
said,
dangling
as-
that,
as
like,
she-
maybe I'm not paying you so much for it, but I am kind of paying you back, or paying you in a different type of currency.
Yeah, well, this was the promise that she gave me. We also have a contract that she releases me when she gets when we get to the point where the treasure map
Points.
hints this
Yeah.
was points. Yeah.
So that's
right.
basically what
this
she's
was-
kind of agreeing with you. Like this is
Yeah, but she agreed before also. But yeah, this is the deal we have. Yeah.
I think she
And
probably
Humphrey
would have
just-
worded it in a way that it wasn't contractual.
Oh no,
But she
we
is-
had a handshake. This was
Oh,
a word.
okay.
Humphrey pressed this at the student bar. Actually.
Oh yes, I remember that now. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So she reminds you that she hasn't forgotten about that. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah.
She also is not like made of money either. So you have the kind of feeling when she's offered like to put a coin towards the expedition equipment that that she's probably can't really afford to do much else for it.
Yeah.
And
I think there's also some kind of goodwill from her with the whole coin putting in it, right?
yeah.
Is it Humphrey's not the best one at reading people, but Jacob, the player, get the feeling that this is kind of a genuine effort to
Yeah.
to
For sure.
yeah. Okay.
She also maybe seems a little bit embarrassed by it that she's not buying all the supplies that are needed, that she's kind of just putting a little bit of money towards it. But I assume you don't press the issue or anything.
No. Humphrey doesn't show any sorrow for her, but
Okay.
sighs and nods and make claps with his hand on the table, and stands up and.
Well, I talked to the others. Somehow we have to get this together before we venture out.
Okay.
And he puts up his head,
Miss Summers.
and yeah,
Yep.
goes to Letha and Santiago to just talk about money now.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So over to Santiago then. What's
Yeah.
what's happened? What's happened with Santiago?
The last time he got robbed of 2 coins, he kind of put it up as a good story point, but now he realizes he has, in some way, gotten himself an enemy, and I think it's up to you, Matt, what kind of enemy it is. But in his mind, it is an some kind of rival trying to pull him down. And
Of course.
this will be met with swift justice if we find them. But so he's gonna be looking out for someone who might be trying to. But yeah, he's totally broke. He has no money to his name at all, and he can't really move around. So I'm guessing he's really hungry and trying to keep his head down as much as possible.
So kind of the same position you were in 2 sessions ago.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So,
Okay.
But yeah, it might be one of the students who wants to pull him down. He had an altercation with, or it might be someone from his old school or something like that. In his mind, it's a great enemy. So probably a 9-year-old, something like that.
Oh, this is great.
If that's okay for you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just making some notes here. I'll have a think about it and see if we can tie something in.
Yeah.
Well,
In my
if I
mind,
can,
it's been
let's say, if I
pickpocketing,
can
yeah.
feed your conspiracy theory, let's put it that way.
Yes. Yeah. It can't be
Okay.
people stealing from him just out of coincidence. He's
No,
important.
no.
Santiago is
He's-
important.
Yeah. He's possibly the most important littling in the house right now.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. And I remember the first time that you lost your 2 coin, we said that it was like in a tavern, you had been drunk. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like one of those things like, oh, my purse is gone, or like the coin is gone. Is that kind of the same way it happened the second time too?
No, I don't think so. He's been trying to not go to a lot of bars and stuff because, yeah, he's been wanted, or at least the slew
yeah.
has been wanted. So I'm guessing now it was during.
There are some seedy
more
taverns
so-
in the slums. Remember we said before that there was like
Yeah.
a slum area, and there would be slua, because the slua are kind of looked down upon by a lot of, not so much here in the Hearth, but they're still kind of, well, I think especially since the wanted posters have gone up and there's been a bit of racial profiling happening, that maybe the slua are, when they want to drink, they get hassled a bit in the nicer pubs and taverns, so they're kind of going to places that are in the seedier part of town where the the agents of the sheriff don't really wander or kind of go because it's a bit too dangerous, maybe. So maybe you've been in some of them. I think that'd probably be okay.
Yeah. But just to feed his paranoia, I think this was when he was sober this time.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
At least in his mind, it was then. And yeah, perhaps on his way to a bar, something like that.
Did you get bumped into by somebody? Maybe.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, you decide if I can remember who it was.
No,
But,
no, they were good. They were good.
Yeah, of course. Of course they're good. They're stealing from me.
I love the idea of 9-year-old. So.
Yeah,
9-year-old. Yeah.
Probably.
There's
Just a child.
little
Probably.
little pickpocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ouch,
All right.
Ellie.
And then going over to Letha.
You.
What's who's turned up? Tell us about your not so welcome guest
I think
or
it's
guest
going
acquaintance.
to be...
Yeah.
Yeah, the Letha has twin brothers, older twin brothers, and I think it's going to be the wife of one of them, a sylph named Cynthia, because I just like the name, and she loves gossip and stuff like that, and like Letha didn't leave at the greatest terms with her family because of her family history, and so this person might want to reconnect and pretending to be nice, but she actually just wants information to trash talk Letha later, and is also like passive aggressive in judging her and putting her nose everywhere.
So it's kind of like one of the baddies from a Bronte sister novel.
A little bit.
Okay. What's she doing in Chesterfield by herself?
I mean,
Remember that Chesterfield is kind of like considered more or less like the capital of the Hearth. There's a university here, so it's probably a little bit more cosmopolitan than most, because the Hearth is a kind of rusticy sort of area. A lot of people come from other parts of the house to the Hearth because they want to have a bit more of a countryside sort of life for themselves. But Chesterfield is kind of the one place that's a little bit more like a normal town.
yeah, I think maybe, well, because the Flamels are like a bit of a hunting den all by themselves, like their family is kind of known, and I imagine she's also in the business and is just trying to check the local hunting dens, and is just part of the
Scoping the
of the
competition.
bookkeeping and stuff like that. Yeah, checking out competition, gathering information, stuff like that.
Okay. And enjoying all the things that, a big city can offer at the same time.
Of course, of course.
All right. And what about Snotty? How's Snotty doing?
Snotty, yeah.
Is Snotty
the
a bit
thing is,
drier? It seems like your luck might be not quite so bad since last time, right?
Yeah, no. Snotty is not that snotty anymore. So Letha would like to get saddlebags for her and equip her with means to carry stuff around, so we can take her with us and have her around probably. So she's also wearing a little scarf now around her neck, and looking very well kept.
Are you okay with me sharing the artwork you made?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I haven't prepped this. It just hit me that I had this really amazing artwork for Snotty. It's going to be massive when I flash it up on the screen, so let me just resize it. Apologies to everyone watching when it is
This is
too
the actual size scale from us to Snotty then.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just how
Giant
OBS works.
snotty. Kaiju snotty.
Kaiju snot.
Well, a mouse is comparable
Squeak,
to a
squeak.
pony or something like this, right? For littlings. So
Oh, it's not huge. It's not huge.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Oh, it's fine.
So we'll just enlarge it a little bit there. So yeah, that's what Snotty looks like. Yep.
so cute.
So Snotty has a scarf and is kitted out with some saddlebags. It sounds like a good idea. And we did talk about that Snotty was ridden by you and Humphrey when you came to Chesterfield. But she didn't like it very much. She doesn't like being ridden, and something about maybe the two of you riding her. Yeah, there's been a little bit of a. We talked about this before, that she maybe is a little bit like people shy as a result. So, how's she been? How has she been with that as you've been spending time with her and, living with her in the stable?
Well, I guess she's kind of a bit more trusty towards me because I was around a lot. But still quite shy around other people and not fond of too many people getting near her.
Okay. Can we make it so that she's particularly distrustful of Humphrey?
We could.
Just because the two of you rode her, and that kind of broke something in her with her trust in people.
Oh no.
And you've rebuilt that trust with her by spending so much time with her. But Humphrey has been avoiding you.
Yeah.
He's not come to visit the stables. And as a result, she's still like, she's kind of okay around people, maybe a little bit, but Humphrey, she has a reaction to Humphrey.
The mouse hates Humphrey now. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
It's not hate. You can rebuild.
One more
You
reason
can
to scout ahead alone for me. I'm getting away from this nasty
Or
mouse.
it could be
That's
it
fine.
it could be an opportunity for you to bond with the mouse, and maybe
It's
a way
just like,
to get
hey,
back
buddy,
into.
and the mouse bites Humphrey in the face or something like this. So, hey.
No, she would just continuously pee on his bags and stuff.
Oh, this is gonna be a great trip.
Mouse.
This is gonna be a great
Oh no,
trip.
I F-bombed the mouse.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry.
Our one F
The
bombs out.
mouse pees on my sleeping bag and stuff. Oh no.
And
This is
quite
what
large
happens.
pellets.
You take your you take your boots off
So
and put
it's
them next to
always
the
warm in
fire.
Humphrey's sleeping bag. I don't need terrible things because I have a mouse that hates me. Yeah. No. Okay, great. I love this.
Okay. So that's kind of, we've caught up everybody with what's kind of been happening, and got a few little things to play around with there. So Humphrey has spoken to Gwen about the upcoming expedition, about the dangers that are potentially going to be faced. Important to note that, as you've mentioned, the Dreadwood is particularly deadly, just with the fog. The spores in the air are particularly nasty. So certainly masks or scarves, something to cover your mouths with, is gonna be needed.
We need masks
yeah.
for Snotty.
Oh yeah, we need a
Yeah, for Snotty as well.
mask for the mouse as well. Yeah. So there's like I know there's a character from the dramatist personae who's got like a plague doctor mask. I know she's a slewer, but would this be available?
Sure.
Yeah, this would be fun. Then yeah,
yeah.
Could we just play it out shortly to share the money? Maybe we meet up and
Yep. Sure.
yeah, just Humphrey. I imagine us sitting at the table at the mouse and wheel, maybe.
Well,
the sturdy
what
cauldron was it?
Santiago might not be showing his face around there.
Okay.
So you might be meeting up in a dodgy alleyway.
Yeah, or the three spiders. Wasn't Santiago there? Or did he left?
He
it,
was there
right? Because he
before.
got-
Yeah,
But we can
it
say-
was before, yeah. Or we could be at the stable where Snot is.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So all the 4 main characters can be in the story.
Yeah.
And we can see how Snotty feels.
Gwen's not there, right?
No.
No, Gwen's not there. Gwen's not there. I'm just replacing
Just-
Gwen with Snotty.
Next, yeah, next session. Just with each session, the Snotty is slowly moving over Gwen and pushing her out of the picture.
There we go. We'll just put Snotty in the corner there.
Sweet. Ah.
Nobody puts Snotty in a corner.
Very
Sorry.
good. I'm old enough to get that reference, unfortunately. All right. So, you all arrive. Snotty kind of shrinks, kind of goes into one of the corners and kind of just keeps an eye on Santiago as Santiago comes in, and then when Humphrey swaggers in, I wouldn't say she hisses at you like a cat might, but it's the mouse equivalent, whatever that might be. I've never had mice. I have rabbits. Rabbits would thump their foot at you.
Mouses scream, right? There are mouses that scream. In some of them are pitched that we humans can't hear it, but I imagine this mouse screams.
Maybe there's like a little warble that starts like a mousy growl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imitate it because of course
Humphrey.
we can't hear it, but it's it's like a growl.
That what hamsters would do, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh God.
to come up with the hamsters again.
Hamsters.
And now your drawing of Snotty is starting to resemble a hamster to me.
No.
No.
There's a tail.
All right.
I can't see the tail.
Humphrey enters the stable, and you see as the stable door goes open, you see this silhouette of like the Western desperado going into the saloon. You see the silhouette, the long shadow of the cloak and the hood and the mouse in the corner.
Yeah.
And Humphrey slowly walking through the stable. Hey there, little buddy. And he goes dangerously close to the mouse.
The mouse will probably take a swipe at you with a paw if you keep approaching.
Yeah, Humphrey just gets spun in the face by the mouse, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean that might scar. But, looking at your
I got
official
punched
art...
by a mouse. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I get a scar. Got
No, I
punched
don't
by
mean
a
like a
mouse.
mechanical scar. I just mean looking at your face on your character art underneath your video feed.
Yeah,
It does look
Yeah.
like you're pretty, like you've been slashed up a few times. So
yeah,
just
yeah.
maybe adding a little fresh one to your cheek.
Kind of rough, buddy.
And I take a little bit of distance and
Okay. Yeah, then over to you
What's
then.
with her? What's with her?
Yeah, I would
She's
slowly trot in
distressed.
after the 2 guys.
I look to Letha.
What's up with the mouse? Kind of distressed.
I hold out a hand to her and just edge closer to the mouse and see how she reacts to me.
She's very kind of nuzzles your hand with her head and then kind of puts you between her and Humphrey. So she kind of would go behind you to a certain extent just to,
I think when we rode her back to town here, she didn't really like that. I tried, riding her a bit while she was here in the stable. I would just try and just sit on her back, and I went down. So I figured this is not what she likes anymore, and yeah, I don't know. I spent a lot of time with her, so I think we are fine by now, but maybe it was the experience she had.
See,
I mean, if I could rebuild it, you can too, probably.
Yeah.
Santiago
I
does
think
a
it's,
small step away from the mouse.
it's fine, I
Oh
suppose.
no.
She's a coach mouse.
And Humphrey goes on a distance, but holds his hand out, right, like to a shy dog to just sniff on it, or to a horse, something like that. And of course, the mouse doesn't go any further nearer to him, but holds
Nope.
his hand out, looks away, and says,
Yeah, maybe we overdid it.
"Some kind."
Yeah.
And you hear some, his voice dripping with kind of jealousy and like if you're conspiring against him.
Oh boy.
Well, it doesn't
And,
really
yeah,
seem to like me either. So yeah,
That's true.
you shouldn't. Hey, happy. Don't take it as personal. Some animals is just like that.
I push my head deeper into my face and say,
No, it's fine. Animals don't necessarily have to like me.
Don't you kind of
But
kill
with
them?
this one, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
What I wanted to say, Miss Summers finished deciphering the map.
Oh.
And it points to the Eula tree. Into Pinewood Forest and deeper.
my gaze hushes to Letha.
Mm-hmm.
into the Dreadwood.
Oh shit.
I've only heard stuff. Is that as bad as I think?
It is. Crawling with mist that gets into your lungs and causes many kinds of ailments.
But that treasure, though. He has to have treasure at his grave, right?
Miss
Gwen
Summers
didn't say.
surely thinks so.
Uh-huh.
She wants there for a specific reason. I don't think it's mere, I don't know, sightseeing.
With her, I'm not sure, but hopefully not. Half that map is mine.
Oh, you should talk to her about that before we head out.
I
She might
will.
twist your words, and well, you end up paying more than you gain. Believe me.
You can see at the word paying, something goes.
I made a short list.
Says Humphrey, has really a tiny piece of paper, much overfolded, and I wave it between the three of us.
We need masks, just to keep the mist out of our lungs. We need rations. We need fire. We need.
Oh, what else? No, I forgot what I said Gwen earlier.
Rope.
Rope, of course, yes, and also Humphrey want to buy a grappling hook and line, but this is for later on.
All in all, the equipment Miss Summers already gave her what she could afford, but we are still 2 coin into it.
Talking about
share.
coin, you guys haven't seen kind of master spy or criminal mastermind in the area? Because I've been robbed twice.
It doesn't really take a mastermind to do that.
Are you implying something?
You're mostly drunk.
No, but this time I wasn't. This time I was in daylight, open in the open area. Yes.
How many beers did you have in the daylight?
Well, the normal amount, before going out drinking. I had a couple of two, but that's not. I'm certain someone is out to get me. So I have actually no coin to my name at the moment.
Sure.
So I might need to borrow some if we're gonna buy stuff, or I can pay you back in another kind of way. I have stories.
Well, me naturally, I am interested in coin.
Do you have
So-
extra? No, that's not you. No.
I think I can borrow something. You can
Yeah, I can also put in a coin
pay everything.
if
and-
need be. That's not a problem.
Yeah. And then we see what we share of the treasure. And
Yeah,
if there is-
absolutely.
if there even is any.
Yeah, we will.
On the
find
other
out.
hand, sorry.
Oh no, that's
No.
totally fine. We need a mask for Snotty, and I have acquired saddlebags for her,
Oh, that's good.
so she can carry our stuff, and we don't have to carry the whole baggage by ourselves because it would slow us down.
Good.
I would say
She looks.
it would probably cost at least a coin to get saddlebags. But if we say everything that she's gonna need for the journey, including like a mousy face mask thing, it might have to be made especially for her. I would say that's not unusual because there's a lot of mushrooms in the house, and spores from mushrooms are known to be dangerous. So it would make sense that there are masks available for
But we
various
could always
mounts.
try to craft something.
You
right?
could try as well. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a craft? Look, we have a craft skill too.
I have a craft skill, and well, at least I've
Yeah.
got 4 dice, so
Yeah. You're the best at crafting. It looks like, out of everyone.
Yeah.
Gwen is
Yeah,
also
it's-
can also would get 4 for crafting, but she's probably not likely.
she's
to
too busy,
offer. She's too busy.
most likely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Santiago is not gonna be any help at all.
Well, if you want to give me a dice roll, if you can get let's
Of
say
course.
at least 2 basics,
Okay. Yeah.
Can I help?
then you can do
Oh,
that. You can help, sure. So you need 2 basics. Otherwise, you just can't quite figure it out. It keeps slipping or something. You're gonna have to buy one. But this is just narrative. It won't cost anything extra. It's just whether it's gonna be homemade or whether it's gonna be a bit generic.
Okay. This is 1 basic success, and I'd like to do a little reroll with the other
Ooh.
3.
Gonna risk it.
You have an extra die because of the help, right?
Yes, but it's of no help. I got only. I didn't have any additional success.
You lost
You
your.
lose the-
I
lost the first
lose
one.
my yeah. Now the mouse hates me even more. I tried
You
to
ha-
measure like with some leather bands. I try to measure the size of the head, and the mouse really hates it.
Oh, the mouse thought
Really
you were
now.
trying to like slip a noose around her neck or something.
Yeah. I tried to
Um,
strangle the mouse, and now she bites me in the face. I think
Yeah. So
I would take a scar for that.
yeah, definitely write down an experience, which is
Yeah.
You know, Snotty thinks I want to kill
Snotty-
her or something.
Snotty hates me. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So you're gonna buy. I mean, it's not super easy to figure out because just the dimensions of her head are, proving tricky. She would have to definitely sit still. She's even with Letha, because you've been trying to like, no, I know what to do. You've been kind of taking over, like trying to force like some leather straps around her face. She won't let Letha near her face now either. At least for the
I
next few
tainted it.
days.
But I will say, up until the testing, Santiago is like someone who has no ability in crafting, is very impressed. Oh, you can just make it. Wow. Oh yeah. Oh, you're cutting the leather. Wow. Cool.
Now
Yeah,
you got
it
bit in
looks-
the face. Cool.
Looks everything but kind of elegant and competent when Humphrey tries to fold the leather just around the metal
A rope
piece
or-
and tries to slip it around the neck of the mouse and then gets bitten and falls back and Maybe Lisa
So-
tries to calm the mouse, and it's yeah,
No,
very kind of rummaging in the stables right now. I
So I'm
suppose.
gonna say when you go to actually buy one then, because you haven't managed to craft one.
Yeah.
I guess Letha will be going to buy one.
Yeah.
There's only one kind of like outfitters that has mousy masks in stock, shall we say? And they're like handmade as well. They have like special straps or buckles where you can kind of like tighten them and make them fit any size of mouse head. But they only have two. And we're going to say one of them is white with red polka dots on the fabric. And the second is very rough, like sack material. Completely like undyed. It's like a sort of tannish brown, if you know what I mean, like a natural fabric color, which you could dye, of course, if you wanted to. So those are the two options. So you have a feeling that definitely the one with the polka dots on it's much softer and it's probably more comfortable to wear.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the polka dots because
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Aw.
All right. It's not about fashion, it's about comfort, right? You're gonna
yeah.
If she has to wear this thing, then you may as well try and make it comfortable. I like where your head's at, even though it's maybe not the ideal pattern. Okay.
No, but I don't care. She also has a little her little scarf is also red, so
Okay.
it kind of fits.
So easy to spot in a green forest. I gotcha.
Yeah, so if you lose the mouse, we find the mouse.
Oh, if you lose the mouse,
And-
that's true.
And the mouse will be friends with the union people, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a union
It's like
mouse.
those protest dogs that that join protesters during several days. And there was also I don't remember the name of the dog, but he got also red scarf and was kind
Yeah,
of
they put
famous for
bandana. I've seen they
defending.
put bandanas on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
like that.
All right. So
So that's happened. Do you want to? I think we should probably maybe try and move along a little bit, if that's all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Humphrey would buy everything, as well as grapple hook and line for himself for
Okay.
2 coin. And can I get like a little bit of sorry, just looking for the word. Of string or twine and a little bell or something like this, like just to build like a system
Trap?
of like a trap for when we
single trap.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a trap for
So-
if anyone approaches our camp.
There are actual prices for a lot of equipment in the book, and a grapple hook and line is actually in there as costing 2 coin
2 coin.
extra.
Yes, I looked that
Okay,
up.
all right.
Yeah, I looked that up. Yeah. But Humphrey's got money.
And the twine and stuff, I think, like I don't see rope in there. I think that's kind of maybe tied up in with the kind of general expedition adventurers kit, if you will. I'm happy for that to be, you've got a coil of nice thick rope, and you've also got some thinner, lower gauge twine for using for other purposes. That's fine.
Okay.
Like the twine
And
is
like
obviously you wouldn't want to like grab and try and climb up it because it would probably snap, but it's good for tying things down or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I get also a little bell or 2 little bells or something like this? Does
Whistles or
do
bells
those
or what?
cost Yeah,
talking about
whistles. Yeah, I wanted to buy whistles, which was also in the 3 coins that Gwen mentioned, right?
I think like rather than I'm kind of more of the mindset of thinking you've bought an adventures pack with everything you think you might need. As long as it's something small, you can later on say, oh, that maybe I would have thought of having that because that might make sense. But if it's something relatively big like a grappling hook and line, I'd rather you think about the bigger things now. And if you've forgotten to buy it, then you've forgotten to buy it. But anything that's would have made sense. You're an experienced. You and Letha are both experienced guides and hunters, so you'll kind of know what you need. So We don't need to
Yeah. So
spend a lot of time, I think, on doing a shopping session.
so bells and whistles. Yeah.
Santiago?
Santiago.
We'll try to get the half bottle of wine at least for the travels.
I think I like the idea that you need to make a roll to see if you can somehow, get
Steal.
yourself a no, but if you could somehow charm your you could choose a skill. Choose a skill. How are you like somehow managing to get yourself a bottle of wine, and how well you roll is going to determine how full it is.
Grace. I will absolutely be graceful. I will try to could be no, perhaps not graceful. No, okay. So let's say etiquette then.
Etiquette,
That is
polite manners.
polite manners.
So yeah, I think maybe you've snuck into
shop.
a nicer tavern where you have kind of been, people don't know you. That might make sense. And
Correct.
you're just, you're kind of, you're tapping into this sort of this upbringing you had that your mother taught you because she wanted you to be able to because your mother was not at the same level as your father, right, in terms of social status.
Exactly.
But she wanted a better life for you, so she kind of taught you the manners that she'd kind of picked up from your father's house.
Yeah. So 4 dice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, base. Ooh. I have a basic. Is that good enough? It's gonna have to be. I'm not risking going without wine. So a little wine is better than none
a
wine.
basic is a little like you've got like maybe a quarter of a bottle, enough for a small glass.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna re-roll that one. And success! I got the critical.
Okay, a critical is a half. We'll say you've got a half a bottle of wine.
Yes.
But it's
Two
very
large,
good
enough
wine,
for
then.
2 large glasses, and if you're rationing it, then it might give you like 4 small glasses.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good enough.
Okay.
But
All
a
right.
critical, this would be a very good wine, right? Like it's just 2 glasses, but it's Chateau de, I don't know.
It's a very fine vintage mushroom wine.
Yeah. At least it was free. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, I guess they would have berries. It'd be some sort of like a berry wine, I think would make sense. And most of the berries are probably imported from outside, so that's why they're more expensive. And yeah, you somehow managed to charm your way into this. I don't want to use the term charm because it is actually a skill, but and you've used etiquette, but yeah, you've tapped into that old part of your life and realized you've still got it. Look at this nice berry wine that you've managed to secure for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so on a given day, you all are Gwen has arranged to meet up with you all and to head off towards the forest. And is there anything else you want to discuss? Oh, I guess we didn't really talk about Cynthia. Letha.
Oh yeah.
She finds out where you're staying and
Thanks.
turns up at the stables the morning you're meant to be leaving. And in fact, she's standing at the stable door looking in with you with a kind of a cruel smile on her face when you wake up. So she knows you've been sleeping in the stable. Letha,
Cynthia.
have you been sleeping with that mouse?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
often.
How very rustic.
You should try it sometime. Shapes the character.
No, only if I was dying of cold and needed their body warmth to keep me warm on a hunt, but otherwise, not really my thing. Oh.
figured.
Yes. So what are your plans for today? I heard that you're going to be leaving Chesterfield, is that right?
for a bit.
I met a very interesting person named Gwen at the university. Well, she was most forthcoming about all sorts of things. Lots of stories to tell.
So you probably heard everything already, haven't you?
Well, I've heard some things. They sounded very tall tales. Comes to mind the term. Yes, I won't bother to ask you to verify any of it, but yes, very interesting. Some of the things I'd heard. Apparently, you're a very good shot with that key sket of yours, and you think you hear her mutter something under her breath, like, "I'll believe that when I see it." Excuse me.
Of course.
It's the antagonist.
I mean, enough to get hired, probably.
Well, would you like me to buy you breakfast? I insist. Come. You obviously don't have any coins sleeping with the animals. If you're going to set off on a journey, you need a good breakfast in you.
How much time is it actually until we take off?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that Gwen is probably set at a stupidly early hour, and she'll be the last one to turn up, like 2 hours late.
Okay, so I probably have time to get...
And it's probably before the time that she had said to meet up in the first place, so you've definitely got time.
Yeah. Sure. Buy me some breakfast.
Excellent. Come. And as you kind of step out of the stable, she's like delicately like brushing some straw from your clothing.
Oh, I give her a hug.
And tutting.
I give her a hug.
Oh, wonderful. And then as you're hugging her, you can hear her muttering again, like, "Now I smell of mouse."
Yes, you do, and I can hear you.
Well, this might be why you're not married, Letha.
Oh, yeah. It's not the worst, honestly.
Well,
Your brother had it worse, right?
I don't say that, but yes.
she puts an arm around your shoulders and leads you into the tavern, almost like she's playing at being like a sister to you, but you definitely get the impression that she's like, it's not a warm, like casual arm around your shoulder. It's like a grudging arm, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like it feels awkward. It feels a little bit
meeting me.
awkward for both of you. You feel, but she insists on doing it for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. How is Edwin doing?
Oh, he's fine. You know, busy. Keep making sure that our family's name stays, you know, famous.
Yeah, probably doing your best too.
And that was her sniffing. But yes.
And how's my dad?
Oh, well, he's all right. She kind of takes her arm off your shoulder and says he's been better. He's getting old, of course. I know you took care of him for a time, and he does need more taking care of. I take turns at it with your mother. Your mother died, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
I look after him when I can, stop in and see him as often as I can, but there are other people who come and help take care of him. He still likes to get up and go out and go on hunts with your brothers, but you know, he's not the hunter he used to be, let's just put it that way.
Oh, well, I mean, age gets to us all.
You
On
kind
a
of-
serious note, Cynthia, thank you for doing this.
Oh, for buying
And
you
Lisa
breakfast?
is kind of really earnest in this point. Like, this is something that is important to her, and she's kind of like all like snarkiness aside. In this point, she's very, very upfront and earnest.
Thank you for breakfast or something else?
No, for yeah, that too, but also for taking care of Dad.
Oh, well, yes. Someone has to.
Yeah.
When are you coming back home? I ask because everyone will be asking when they hear that I've bumped into you. Your father will be the first one to ask.
Yeah. Well, when it's the right time.
I see. Yes, well, we all have our lives to live, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then she kind of waves to like a one of the bar staff and orders you breakfast. You're gonna say something, sorry?
Yeah, well, totally fine. And also, there are some lives you're more welcome in than in others. But you probably have figured that out about me already.
Oh, is that business with that? What was his name? Harvey?
Humphrey.
Humphrey, that's it. A boggart. Yes. He's... hold on. Is he in town?
Maybe.
Her eyes squint. Letha. Letha. Surely that part of your life is finished now. You're not seeing him again, are you? It would break your poor father's heart if he knew that you were seeing that vagabond again.
Oh. Since you have met Gwen, you already know, right? And I'm also seeing someone else. And I'm also seeing a mouse. So make of it what you want.
I see. Yeah, from that moment on, it's she only makes very light small talk with you, and the smiles are very, very tight-lipped, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also,
with
Letha's
Gamora.
smiles are like mostly she's just baring her teeth, and is conveying it with a smile.
Okay. When the breakfast arrives, are you deliberately eating it in a certain way, or just eating
Let's
normally?
pick it up. We've got to go now.
No, I'm not going to be totally antagonistic towards her.
Okay.
It's just like I'm trying to set boundaries for myself and trying to stick up for myself, but also I try to keep some manners at least. So it's like she's
Okay.
a bit of a connection to my family,
Sure.
and I want to keep that, but
Yeah.
she's also really mean, so
Yeah.
I have to push her away a little.
Sure. Yep. You kind of teaching her that you're not somebody to be that can be walked all over. Yeah.
Yeah, I try at least. I try.
Sure. And I think you know as well, you sleeping in a stable with a mouse isn't really gonna. It probably is gonna make your dad smile more than anything else, because he didn't raise no daughter to be sleeping all comfy in some fancy tavern. Something along those lines, anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So she keeps you there. She insists on having some mushroom coffee after the meal's finished, and you're kind of like, if you had a watch, you'd be looking at it because you realize that the time is running away from you. And in fact, Humphrey is sent in to summon you by Gwen because they've been waiting for you. Everyone is assembled, and you are not there. So Humphrey comes into the tavern.
I would first look into the stable. Is the mouse still there? Yes.
The mouse
right?
is still there. Yep.
I keep my distance to the mouse, and yeah, then go into the tavern, putting off my hat and look around. And do I see Letha? Or
do see
do I
Letha.
see?
And
do
you
I
also see Cynthia.
Cynthia?
I would say you probably recognize Cynthia as well.
Who is sitting with her back to me, and who is sitting with her face to me? This
You
could
tell
be
me.
interesting.
You tell me. What's more interesting for you?
odd. It's Letha, and even it's Cynthia. Cynthia is seeing me.
Okay. So so Letha's back is to you, but Cynthia's facing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when
Humphrey
when you
doesn't
come in and
recognize
take
her.
your hat off,
Yeah.
you see Cynthia kind of glance at you and then does a double take, and her eyes
Yeah.
narrow.
Humphrey doesn't recognize her.
Okay.
He doesn't know the Flamel family and the extended family of the Flamels, so only the brothers.
I would
not,
say she was probably at least courting one of the brothers at the time that you and Letha were
Yeah.
kind of dating.
Yeah.
So she probably recognizes you because you've become this sort of
course,
infamous part of the family's history. But she's probably you've probably only seen each other a handful of times, so it's harder for you to recognize who she is.
Humphrey doesn't know. Humphrey doesn't.
Okay.
He's just looking around and walking around the room like the John Travolta meme. And
Yeah, I get it. Pulp
stepping
Fiction.
through
Yep.
through the common room and looking for Letha.
As you approach the table where Letha is, Letha, you see Cynthia looking over your shoulder at someone, and she sits back in her chair, and her face is instantly all pretense of being friendly gone. Just this stony face, like someone just took a shit on the floor, more or less.
Fantastic.
Like disgusted. And as you get close, before you can say anything to Letha, Cynthia says quite loudly, "What do you want?
Ma'am.
You want to ruin Litha's life even more? Is that what you're here to do? You rogue?"
Ma- I see Litha. I look to Litha and ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ma'am? Do you not know who I am, Humphrey?
Yeah, Humphrey is in cold sweat right now. He doesn't. He really doesn't know. Just
Cynthia, he hasn't seen you very often, and
I remember him.
maybe you're not as remarkable as you think. So,
It's like that, is it?
maybe don't be that mean to him. So, yeah. Thank you for breakfast and everything. So, greet my father and my brothers. I think I need to go on my expedition.
Well, lovely to see you again, Letha. I'll be sure to let your family know that you're safe-ish.
Yeah, you do.
Humphrey. She gives a nod of the head.
ma'am, and I put my head back on.
I hope
take
you
from
fall
my
into a
head.
deep hole. And she takes another sip.
I hope you don't.
And when Letha and Humphrey are out of the door, Humphrey says,
I hope you don't wade down that hole. Now that's what.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, you're all together, and you make your way out of the city. Santiago, I assume you're trying to just kind of keep behind everyone else when you're getting to the gates. They do notice that you're
still a bit away from the mouse.
Yeah.
I saw what it did to Humphrey. I'm not going to be too close.
Okay.
"Oh, and also Cynthia would have seen a really nasty scar, which looks
Fresh.
pretty fresh and badass."
Yeah.
But she does
Yeah.
not know yet that it's from a mouse.
That's true. No. Yeah.
It looks like just Geralt of Rivia scar one more, but it's just not that glorious.
I should definitely be telling everyone that your face has been scratched up by something.
Yeah.
Okay, so You're hanging at the back, Santiago, but it's okay. We don't need to roleplay this, I don't think, too much, because Gwen has all the paperwork that's needed, surprisingly, for the expedition. She has put your actual name down, but they didn't know who you were, so that's not really a problem. And it was clear that you had entered the city at one gate and now you're leaving, maybe by the same gate, doesn't really matter, but like there's a record of your coming and going being made, so who knows what that might mean later in the campaign.
Oh, there's going to be historical evidence that I've been here for adventures and hero stuff.
Indeed. So you make your way towards the fallen tree in the distance, and it is kind of late morning as you start out, but by the time you reach the outskirts of the forest, it is sort of afternoon, and yeah, nothing happens along the way. There is sort of a path that leads, a kind of a well-worn path that leads from Chesterfield kind of directly towards the forest, which I guess Humphrey at least will have definitely known about. I think with Letha, it's up to you to decide whether you've been here before, but as a guide, as a profession, there's probably not very many people. Well, I guess there could be people who would want to go in there who would need protection and someone to help them not lose their way. So people who might, as I said, who might be more interested in rare, hunting or mushrooms or those sorts of things. So have you actually been here before or not?
I'd say I've been here, but definitely not as often as Humphrey.
Okay.
Like,
and
I
how
was on
deep into the actual forest have you ventured?
Not into the Dreadwood, I think.
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, Dreadwood is like, everyone knows it's very dangerous. There's a lot of scary stories about it and stuff. Okay. Has Humphrey been into the Dreadwood?
I think since Humphrey was tracking the trails of the famous white rat that he wanted to kill to gain entrance to a den, and the tracks maybe went into the Dreadwood, so Humphrey scuttled around the edge, maybe crossed the border into the Dreadwood for a short time, but very quickly withdrew due to the fog and the gases from the mushrooms. And yeah.
Okay. So that's fine. So you've not actually spent any time exploring the Dreadwood. That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have the mask, and after maybe an hour and a half scuttling around, it was too dangerous.
Like
I started coughing and
trying to do this, but not like it's coming away and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. You definitely don't have cordyceps. So
what this is.
Oh, that's the mushroom spores that in ants that make them turn into zombies.
Oh
yeah. Okay, this one. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Or like the Last of Us zombies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Mouse.
you're kind of just getting into the start of the forest, and the going is pretty easy at first. There's no real need for Humphrey for you to be kind of too far ahead scouting the way, because it's more like you're kind of stepping over branches rather than kind of like climbing through them, because that's when you get deeper into it, it's gonna be like hiking, like serious hiking. If you imagine a very small person and what a pine tree looks like. Yeah. And it's fallen down and there's broken branches and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of it's going to be very slow going. The mouse is going to be there too, but the mouse should probably be fine. It's just, she's a little bit bigger than anyone else. So there might be some tight squeezes, but mice are very, very agile, very good at climbing and stuff anyway. So, yeah. And by the time night falls and it's time to set up camp, you're kind of just starting to get into that slightly denser foliage, if you will. So you think it's a good place to set up camp because you've got a little bit of cover around you on all sides. But it's if you kind of stand up or even like maybe find a branch that's a little bit higher, you can kind of have a good little scout around you if you wanted to kind of keep an eye on your surroundings. Whereas if you just venture a little bit further in, then you're kind of be just enclosed a bit more in all the branches.
Yes, yeah. I would like to scout. Is it already really dark, or do I have like half an hour until it's completely dark?
No, we'll say you find a good spot to camp. Well before it's too dark, for sure.
Okay.
I'm just aware we're kind of right at the 1.5 hour mark, the halfway mark. So we'll just finish up this the preps for making your camp. We're gonna do something similar to we did in the first session, where it obviously makes sense to have watches standing for the night. So we'll maybe decide how you're going to do that. Maybe we can also have a roll for, is there something to do with survival? I guess exploration. Exploration is the skill.
Yes.
So I think...
So should I do...
I think there's definitely a skill that I think Letha's... Oh no, you're both you and Letha are the same in exploration. So, one of you can roll for it, and one of you can help. I think makes sense.
Yeah.
Santiago, I imagine, isn't much help at setting up a camp in the outdoors.
But he wants to help, but he's not very helpful.
I think narratively, I like it more where it's you're not giving them any dice.
No. When someone's carrying something, I'm holding one of the ends.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it looks like I'm doing something, but I'm not really helping.
You're keen to help. You just you're just not sure what to do. Yeah. Okay. So, which of you wants to roll? You'll get a +1.
How many do you want?
Yep.
You get
I get a +1. Okay, so it's 6 dice. That is 2 basics.
Okay.
Should I push for more? Is something more needed, or is that?
I mean,
fine?
you could. It's kind of a nice position to be in because you have 2 extra dice then, right?
Yeah.
You're only rolling the 2 extra dice. If you don't get anything better, i.e. a 3rd basic, or you can upgrade one of them to at least a critical, then you would lose one of the basics, but you would keep the 2nd one. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think I'd stick with it.
Okay. So you set up a camp in the time that you've gotten with kind of the things you're able to find and the provisions you brought with you. You're able to set up a fairly decent camp. It's nothing special. You definitely have made better campsites in the past, but it's perfectly serviceable. And we'll stop there briefly for a little break for the players and for myself. Yeah. And we'll be back in 5 minutes? 10 minutes? How long do you need?
I think, right?
10?
10 would be good.
Probably fine.
Okay. Yep. So catch you all in 10 minutes.
Yep. Thanks for staying with us so far, everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you in 10 minutes.
We're back soon. Okay, we're back.
Mr. Sheeps.
All right.
Prost.
Cheers.
Skål.
Prost.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Skål. Yamas.
What's up, this?
Oh no.
Okay,
That's
so
my good salad.
there's time to, once you've got the campfire set up, you're gonna obviously sit down and have some food, maybe have a drink. Santiago has his bottle of wine.
Yep.
And just we'll talk about watches through the night after we've done a little bit of role play, because during the interlude we just had a quick chat as players, and there's a little bit of role play to take place at the campsite. So yeah, we'll say Gwen sits down. You start a fire, I imagine, because it's you want to keep warm and you want to have a campfire because that's part of a camp, right? And Gwen gets a book out and starts flicking through it and kind of like looking at, basically like going back and forth, like she's referencing something in this book, as the rest of you settle down around the fire.
Gwen, that book of yours there doesn't really information about the grave or something like that, perhaps?
The tomb of Argo's tomb. No.
Yeah.
This is a book I've borrowed from the university about the Pinewood Forest, actually.
Oh,
It's
okay.
mostly myths and legends, I think. But there might be a little bit of something interesting about the forest I might be able to glean from this. I might be able to help,
Oh, that's good. It's quite dangerous travel, this. We haven't really discussed payment and or shares of treasure.
Shares of treasure. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Half a map.
yes. I see. Yes. Well, I suppose the half a map entitles you to half of the treasure.
Yes. Or the gain of this, I would say. Treasure, if it might be, treasure later on, like in books.
Well, if there's any books to be had, I'm afraid anything that
Or
is
written.
of oh, this could be quite disastrous. If there's no treasure to be had, you're going to be wanting a share of what I need.
Yeah, well, we can always, find something out, It could be if you write stuff and get paid for lectures or talks or what you call them.
I see.
Yeah.
What? A contract? You want to make a contract with me, do you?
Well, just an agreement would be fine. But a contract, yeah.
Well, I will agree if there's any treasure to be found where we're going, that is of a that is of a nature that is not academic, shall we say. That I'm willing to allow you to have as much of it as you can fill your boots with. You'll of course need to agree with Humphrey and Letha some sort of remuneration, but from my part, I'm only interested in the academic finds we might find in this where we're going. And if it's just full of coins and things like that, then I have no interest in that. I might have to keep one just to keep an eye, just to look at what it is and that sort of thing. But
yeah, but if there might be, only a old dead guy, there might be some other winnings from this, something like you writing a good story.
Well, you want royalties on an unpublished, as yet uncreated book that I might one day write. I see.
Royalties? No, I meant you could put in a good word.
Oh. Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Ah. Yes. Yes. You want to become something of a legend, do you, Santiago?
Become is a strong word if I already is one, but yeah, more of a legend, I would say.
Yes. Well, I can certainly emphasize your part in this adventure. Certainly.
Excellent.
Certainly.
And all treasure. And I will share the treasure with the other guys, of course.
And I will not lay claim to any non-academic treasure. Yes. If there's a gold goblet that has some sort of engraving on it that might lead to something to do with, or might have some bearing on Argo's life, then that is of academic interest. For example. It's hard to know without knowing what is going to be at the place we're going to say exactly what it's going to be. But
yeah,
you'll just have to trust in my judgment.
And you in mine, then?
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess.
Excellent. He pulls out the half bottle of wine and says, "Let's drink to that," and he sends the bottle around.
Okay. Do you send it to her first?
No, to Letha first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Letha?
And Santiago last. So
yeah.
Letha, bottle.
How much do you take? There's
He
a
will
half
finish the whole bottle.
a half a bottle of warm berry wine. It's body temperature.
Of course it is.
It's been kept very safe.
Yes. Yes.
How much of it do you drink?
A swig.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It's very sweet. You've probably had it at some point. Probably you haven't had it since you've left your father's house, because this would be very expensive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's also like you haven't. It's very sweet, like almost overpoweringly sweet to you as well. Be like somebody having mead for the first time. If you've ever had mead.
Yeah. I personally, as player Carmen, doesn't like mead, but yeah,
mead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Letha probably loves it, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I pass it on to Humphrey.
Yeah, Humphrey just returns from outside the camp, from setting up a little trap that I come later to, and looks perplexed to Letha.
You handed a bottle of dark purple wine.
Yeah. Awkwardly takes the bottle, standing there around the campfire, looking to the others.
We're passing around. Take a
Sitting
swig.
down slowly and taking a little bit of longer swig. Flinches because it's very unexpectedly sweet, and Humphrey's, of course, not a sweet tooth.
Of course.
And wipes his mouth and says, "Good stuff," and gives it to Gwen.
Gwen takes she takes like a corner of her vest and kind of wipes the lid, like totally not even like embarrassed about doing it or anything, just like, yeah, well, you know.
That's fine.
And then she takes a light swig, still holding the bottle, swirls it around in her mouth, does that, and says, "Santiago, this is rather a good vintage." And then she puts it to her mouth, and she takes like 2 big gulps, and then she hands it.
Respect that.
She hands it back to you, and you can see that her cheeks start flushing ever so slightly.
Excellent.
And
He takes the
your bottle is now
and
half of what it was before.
he takes the bottle and then he takes a piece of his jacket that's very dirty and turns.
You wiped off all the dirt.
And takes a swig as well. But if he realizes it's expensive, he takes an ordinary, a mouthful and.
I
nice.
imagine the way Santiago would do it would be you'd make it look like you were taking a huge swig, but you'd stick your tongue you'd stick your tongue there to like not make much come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then
all for the show.
And then into the pocket again.
Oh yeah. Gotta keep that nice and warm.
Yes.
Excellent.
Nice one.
Okay. Gwen picks up her book again after she kind of watches you take the drink, and she's kind of smiling, and then she picks her book up, but you can see that she's kind of got a little smile on her face. Her cheeks are red as she seems almost a bit more distractedly kind of going through her book for some reason. You're not sure why.
Do you know the vintage?
Oh no, I don't have much of an opportunity to drink wine like this. Oh, the last time was probably when was it? Last month probably. Oh goodness.
Oh, poor you.
Wow. I
Yes.
haven't had something like that in years.
Well, it's not to everyone's taste, I guess. It's very sweet. My father hated sweet wine.
I take out. Is there a label on the bottle?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Is it something special or just words for me?
It's nothing you can read because it'll probably be in a fairy language, and it's probably written in some sort of like some sort of font or calligraphy that is so pretentious that even if you spoke fairy, it'd probably take you like 10 minutes just to figure out what it was saying. You know, it's like when the S is looks like a B kind of, you know, like those sort of old. The S.
Oh, my dad loved it actually.
Bine.
She giggles when you say that. She giggles.
Yeah. She can.
My dad had this around sometime.
Ooh.
He was very fond of it.
It's very delicious.
It was.
Yeah, it is.
I try not to have more than. I try not to go through more than a bottle. A bottle a month is probably a good volume. Make it last. I think I still have a few bottles of a similar vintage in my rooms in the university, but.
Ooh, you have to invite us.
Well, if I knew you liked the wine so much, maybe I could have bought your services with that. And she gives you a wink, and then she goes much more red.
Not impossible, my dear. I'm gonna call you blushes. Yes.
The book covers her face. Sorry, that's just
Lisa is kind of awkwardly giggling a little, like she's.
Yep. So happy. Did you find anything on your walk?
Yeah, Humphrey would sit there, staring very intently at the fire when Letha mentions her family, and his fingers like clutching, and Humphrey would have done a little scouting after we set up camp, and while the others prepared the fire. So, did I find anything, Matt?
You were setting traps, you said, and what else were you looking for?
I was scouting the area for tracks or something like that. That if any wild animals cross our campsite.
Yeah. If you give
I'm
me
kind of warned.
give me a test. And I'm trying. There was some feedback we had before about showing more of the character sheets and the mechanics a little bit.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's definitely going to be an exploration role because it has everything to do with your
Okay.
bearings in the wild, traveling, that sort of thing, locating food and
Mhm.
resources. So it's kind of the survival skill.
Yeah.
So if you give me an exploration role,
Okay, for the
and
starting
because you're because it's trying to find stuff, I think it to me it's. Oh, no, it's not really passive. I guess you can push this if you want to.
Okay. Okay. So I could also take, yeah. Okay. I take exploration. Sure. No, no, those are two basics.
Do you want to risk one of them and re-roll? How many dice have you got in total?
5.
Oh, so you'd only be re-rolling one die.
Nah, it's no.
Probably not worth the risk.
No. Humphrey wouldn't risk it. Just looking in
so
the vicinity.
You do see some tracks. Not they're not super close to your camp, but also not super far away. Oh, but when I say tracks, I shouldn't say tracks. I should say you see clear signs that something moved through the area, where you have like little. I mean, they're the needles of the branch, right? The needles of a pine tree, but they're kind of like branches to you in a way.
Yeah.
And you can see that they've been kind of pushed, and some of them have been snapped by something kind of moving through. And you can't tell what it is. You don't find any signs of fur that might have come off or anything like that. If it was like a rat or something, you can't be too sure. And you don't see any actual like tracks in anything soft. So just with the two basic successes, you can tell that something moved through here, probably not too long ago, but you can't say whether it was an hour ago or a week ago, but probably nothing more than that.
Okay. Yeah, Humphrey would take some time to look after if the.
But you also have to think this is also there's lots of wild creatures living in here anyway, so you're not probably particularly surprised at this.
Yes. So I would take a little detour maybe to look if it crossed or came back in a close distance maybe, and if it didn't, I would make a mental note and set up like a trap. I just spin the twine around our campsite, and attach the little bells, two little bells on the twine. So if anyone approaches or anything approaches our camp during night and does not see the twine, it will tingle the twine and the bells will ring and we will be alarmed. At least the person taking the watch will be alarmed, and then Humphrey would come back and join in the conversation.
How far do you want the twine and the bells to be from your campsite? Quite close.
Depends on how long the twine is. I think we've got maybe 2 tents probably. Or does Gwen have her extra tent? I don't know. Or do we even have tents? Do we have sleeping bags?
Let me check how much, because tents were definitely something that are in the core book, costing 2 to 3 coins each.
Yeah, we got some tents from the Juliet's, from Gustav and Juliet. I think. Or did we sell it?
I'm not
Wasn't
sure
on the
if
list
we
of the
got
things
one.
we sold.
I don't remember you keeping one. I think I can't remember there being one listed
we
either.
didn't get that.
Okay, then.
Comfy slippers, that's all.
Yeah, comfy slippers, that's all. All right, so we don't even have a tent, so never mind. I take a radius as big as it can get with the twine that I have, which is probably not too far, but
no, it won't be too far, because obviously the further you get, the circumference becomes it goes up fairly quickly in terms of how much twine you would need. Santiago, Rasmus.
You could also put it where ingress points, where animals and stuff had been walking earlier, so you don't use a whole circle, and also get Matt an opportunity to sneak up anyway.
Yes. So Humphrey would look for denser undergrowth that most animals would not move through, at least not move through without making any noise, because snapping twines or needles and stuff like that. So
Yep.
yeah, Humphrey would try his best to predict any access points, as Rasmus said, and then yeah, cut the twine in appropriate strips.
Okay. Yep.
Oh yeah, at least in 2 strips because I only have 2 belts, I imagine.
That's fine.
So-
Yeah. So I just okay.
Yeah.
So you can kind of spread the radius, or sorry, the diameter a bit further out from the center of your camp. Okay. Who's taking the different watches? We'll say that there's 3 watches through the night. So I guess sort of like 3 hours each, something like that makes sense to me. Who wants to take the first, second, and third watches?
Humphrey would take second.
I take first.
Oh, third.
Okay. So, do you want to? Are we okay to move to the rolling for things that might happen,
Yes. For me, at
Well,
least.
or do you want to do
Humphrey
anything
and
else
Lisa, I
before you
think, would have.
go for bed?
No.
Yeah, when
Traveling.
Santiago is asleep. So Humphrey would inform everyone about the twine and the trap. So if the bell rings, something's approaching. So be on your guard. Be on your guard in general, because this is the
Huge tree forest, and this is a dangerous place, even if it doesn't look like that.
I'm assuming that Humphrey and Letha will have their keyskets loaded as
of
well.
course.
And we need to remember, if anything does happen, just remember that we're going to be using the reloading
Yes.
rules too.
Yes.
I made a note of that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So everyone's been informed about the perimeter and about staying on their guard. And if you hear a bell, react to it immediately. Yep. And then Santiago.
Santiago curls up and goes to sleep, so the others can talk.
So does Gwen.
Yeah, Humphrey
She
is
puts her
still-
book away, and she seems to fall asleep fairly quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, Humphrey is still sitting there. Didn't really move, just looking into the fire and clutching his fingers. And I think there would be an awkward silence before Humphrey starts to say anything, but I don't know if Letha wants to.
Actually, Letha turns around because she has to look away from the fire, and she would
Yeah.
kind of assume a guarding position, and like while she turns around and there is this awkward silence, she's like, "Do you want to talk about something?"
I don't know.
Are you still sitting here?
Seeing faces from home.
Yeah, not really welcome ones, to be honest.
How so? Was this was not your aunt, right?
Do you remember her? She's the wife of one of my brothers. Like, I think when back then she was courting my brother. Like, they were not really together back then, but you've seen her
Uh-oh.
once or twice.
There was the snappy lady at the mushroom ball.
Yeah,
Was
that
it
was
that?
her.
Oh,
The mean bitch, come on, say it. Like, she is.
a mean bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you met with her? I mean,
She-
none of my business, of course.
She showed up, like, she actually found me in the stable. She bumped into Gwen and kind of found out where I was and made sure she was standing there when I woke up while sleeping at the stable.
So she was kind of stalking you.
Yeah, I think so.
Strange. So you didn't want to be found then? Take others right.
Well, I didn't make an effort to, well, particularly hide from her specifically, but she's into gossiping and collecting information, and just, she's mean. It just means she will trash talk me.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't leave on the best terms at home.
So can I say as well?
Yeah. Does your family hate you?
Probably. Went away. Never came back, Letha.
I figured.
Yeah. I wonder how. Since you were not there. But you did well on your own, I suppose.
Took me quite a while.
Yeah, better take things easy. Slow and easy.
Well, wasn't
No.
exactly like that, so, but,
I hope you had fun.
I didn't. But you kind of seem to get through by yourself.
Making the odd coin here and there.
Yeah.
Scraping by.
Short question to the chat. Am I am I understandable?
Me, totally.
Probably.
Okay.
For me as well. We can see what the
Yeah.
people
Okay.
in watching say.
Okay.
Sorry,
Carl.
Yeah. Well, you seem to be quite all right by yourself. Like, not really bothered at all, to be fair.
Well, you get to care for yourself. Learn to care for yourself when you're alone.
And she kind of sits there and falls a bit silent. And just as you think that she's not going to say anything, she kind of blurts out. She's like, you know, I didn't.
What, ditch me?
do this.
Run away back home? You must have laughed, right? Stupid Lockwood boy.
Did it ever occur
Promising
to
to
you
run
that
away.
something happened? She gets.
Oh, what could have happened, Letha, after the mushroom ball where your brother scratched my face?
My dad almost
And
died. That happened. That happened.
Well,
But you didn't really care. Like, you just moved
I'm
on because what could have happened? Huh? For real? This is what you thought?
well, how could I have... I'm sorry, Letha, for your loss.
He survived because I took care of him. That is the reason why I couldn't meet up. Like, I got caught by him. I was packing my things. I was ready to leave. And he caught me. And when he saw what I was about to do and that I was running away, you know that he had this injury. Like, where he got hit in the head.
Yeah,
And
I heard
he
the
kind of,
stories.
it started with a nosebleed. Like, and not the one that just stops by lifting up your arms and breathing. It was the one that you get a bucket for. And then he lost his sight a little. And he started trembling. And he just fell down and he lost speech. And it was a mess. It was a mess. And I stayed and I had to get him back to health. And I didn't know where you went, so I couldn't even write you. And I wrote to you many times, but I couldn't send it. And also I didn't send it because I kind of was pissed and couldn't get over myself. And she kind of pulls out a bottle and takes a large swig from that one too. And it's a tin bottle, and you smell the strong smell of rubbing alcohol. Like, this is not really meant for drinking, and it's disgusting, but she does it.
I'll just interject as well that Snotty detects the tremble, the tone, and comes. While you're talking, you feel like a muzzle like nuzzle you from behind.
Oh, I gently scratch her a little and lean into this little head that kind of steps up behind me.
Yeah, there's a long, awkward pause, of course. Oh.
Snotty's giving you the evil eye as well, Humphrey.
Yeah. Guilt trip by a mouse. Next experience.
Are they loud enough to wake people up?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa gets
Santiago is awake, but accepting that this is not his part, and he's gonna try to not move.
Yeah.
We would notice if Gwen would be awake, so because she would
Gwen's
join the
definitely not
conversation
awake.
very
No.
quickly. Yeah.
I didn't know.
I know.
Is this true, Letha?
And Humphrey turns to you and looks at you very intently.
Yeah,
And you see it's like
crying.
you see like, pardon?
Yeah, she's crying. You could see this. Like, she's hiding it in her voice, but there is tears in her eyes, and a bit like she's trembling a little, and she's like, I wouldn't lie about things like that. Like, I can do a lot of shit, but not that.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I sat there the whole night.
I believe that.
After this stupid ball and this stupid brawl of my stupid brothers and your stupid brothers, I suppose.
Honestly, like, this was probably the most action this mushroom ball ever saw.
Yeah. It probably did. And after he promised to leave this stupid quarreling, this hatred and prejudice of two old men behind. Yeah, I thought you would come, and I waited, and I waited, and I thought about what we promised, the words we gave to run away.
You see something dawning on her
Chesterfield.
face that didn't occur to her.
To Chesterfield by the fire,
Yeah.
not returning. And then
What was the contract for you?
I keep my word.
I'm so sorry.
I thought. I sat there, wondering, when would you come? Sat there in the night at the Red Book, watching, seeing the smoke of the village. And I asked, where are you? Where were you? When would you finally come? And I tried not to think about it. But it crept up, what your brother said, how you could possibly be with me. And I didn't want to think about it, but what if you tricked me? Tricked this stupid Lockwood boy out of the village and...
It didn't even occur to me I could make myself a hero of my own family. Good God. No.
I didn't want this to be real, and I waited till the morning dawned, and then it was clear you would not meet up with me and go to Chesterfield. And I headed out. I did what I could best.
Being stubborn.
I wanted
She
to
kind
say,
of gently shoves you.
yeah. I scraped by, I guess, but everything went to shits.
Oh God, I feel that. I really feel that. I feel like
Well, nobody died, at least, so.
yeah,
Or
I feel
nearly
like
died.
meeting my brother's wife was kind of fated too, and so yeah, I kind of get how everything went to shits for you. I'm really sorry for that. I kept things, and she's kind of rummaging through her bag and getting out a little box that is filled to the brim with letters.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And she
Okay.
kind of sat on this and kept it. Like, I mean, you can look through this if you want, and it kind of she holds one up, and it's all addressed to you. Like, there are a bunch of unfinished letters,
Shit.
and she never sent, and she just sits there like, I never tracked you down. Like, this is, I thought about it because, I mean, you're a hunter, you trade things, so I could have figured out your traders probably and kind of tracked you over this, but I was pissed too. I was kind of full of myself because you didn't wait, because you just went away, and so it took some time, and I was really angry, and then a lot of time had passed, so I thought it didn't matter anymore, and I avoided it, and then we ended up in this.
So you're holding the box to me,
Yeah.
so I can. Yeah,
Yeah, she's
with
kind of
shaking hands.
holding it, and she's like, take it or don't, or maybe it's getting awkward right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Santiago is slowly turning around in his bed sheet, trying to be quiet, but is not successful to see what's happening.
Yeah. Humphrey's so I think Humphrey and Letha are sitting now face to face to each other, sort of. And when Humphrey hears Santiago moving, he flinches and like if we get ambushed right now. And yeah, cold sweat at his face. And he keeps his breath, like staring into the darkness over the fire, so seeing nothing, but
She kind of sets the box slowly down because this is weird.
well, no, this is Humphrey in initially in total suspense mode, like you know him from hunting, but he drags the moment out, sort of, because this is whatever's out there is less frightening than what he's going to face now. And
just to throw it out there, you hear a distant like twig snapping at this while you're like keyed.
Maybe not, because then Humphrey would surely investigate.
Okay.
So
all right.
he would feel obliged to. Yeah, this would be too
it's
generous for him to escape the
quiet
situation.
then. It's so quiet
it's
that
quiet.
nothing has happened.
Yeah.
That's also strange.
Yes, absolutely. And slowly, mechanically, Humphrey turns back to Letha, and maybe if you hold the box still, with shaking hands, Humphrey would take the box, peculiar, watching out that your fingers don't, your hands don't touch, and he takes the box and puts it on his knees, and looking to Letha, looking on his hands that are holding the box, resting on the box, and
I would not have been easy to find.
I'm a damn
kept
good
for
tracker.
myself. Yes, you are. Stuck with myself most of the time. Didn't want to be among people.
It shows,
Not
to
like
be
to
honest.
pardon?
It shows, to be honest.
Maybe. I got a little bit rough around the edges.
And a bit dusty, too.
Not moldy yet. I did not know what I would do, wandering aimless, and didn't know what happened next or what I should do next, so I did what I could best, like hunting, probably.
Yeah. It sounds like you. I'm getting better. Like, I mean, a lot of things went to shit in this adventure, but I kind of feel like things are getting a bit better.
Honestly, things started to get better.
And you see him, his hands clutching the edge of the box, like
Things went better when we met again. Somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, it fulfilled the contract that you made, right?
I suppose so.
So yeah, things got better for you and went to shit for me. Well, that's great. You are not the cause. It's all right.
Didn't believe it would work this way. Like, Yeah. I'm sorry
Yeah, me
for
too.
that stuff that happened to you. And maybe for also not looking out for you. I mean, I thought you were at home and hunted around the village, but I could have stayed there, tried to talk to you when you're out. Yes,
Still,
I was too
also,
afraid.
I could have tracked you down. I'm pretty sure I could have.
You couldn't have snuck up on me, to be fair, but yeah, you would have tracked me.
I could see about that. I'll try again.
Yeah.
Come on, get some rest.
Yeah. Humphrey looks over his shoulder a little bit to Letha, because they're sitting next to each other, right? And
Would rather have trapped me than snuck up on me. Like you
Probably.
remember. Remember when we met? Spiderweb.
You sprung my trap and ruined everything, and so
I wanted to save
an
you.
eight-legged asshole could get to me.
I wanted to save you. Excuse me for.
Because every
For
woman
not
in the
letting-
woods is a damsel in distress. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you
And
didn't
has a
make.
rifle.
Pardon?
And has a rifle. True.
You were stuck in a spider's web. I did not expect you to be insane enough to get trapped there just to lure a spider next to you to shoot it.
Scared me off. You just barged into everything, and my carefully crafted trap went off on me instead. So
You could have told me something, you could have warned me when I came in, but
I didn't even know you were there.
you're not very
And
good
then-
at communicating, Lisa.
Rich coming from a delicate wallflower like you are.
At least I'm talking my plans through with you and
Now,
what the idea is that we do.
you didn't know me back then.
Yeah, but I would also not have set myself in a spider web as an elaborate trap for a spider.
I wasn't sitting in the spider's web. That was when
Oh.
she already got to me because
It very much looked like that, Lisa. From the outside.
yeah, from the outside.
Yeah, maybe you didn't even set up a trap, you just got stuck in the web and what you.
Yeah, I just wanted to lure you in. That was my plan all along.
Humphrey lets out a snort of amusement, and
Good to be around with you again.
Yeah. It's good to have you back too.
So,
Get some sleep. I promise I will not get into a spider's web.
yeah, don't. Oh no, you know what? Actually, do stay at the camp this time.
Right.
and yeah, Humphrey's still clutching the box, standing up awkwardly, of course.
You're fine. Need anything?
I'm fine. I can do this. I've done this many times. As you know.
I know.
Go to sleep. It's all right. And it was good that we could talk about this. Like it was. I needed
Yeah.
this.
And Humphrey goes 2 steps away to his bedroll, and then still tries to look over his shoulder and puts his head, he doesn't need in this wood, deeper into his face and says,
I guess I guess I needed the chew.
Probably.
And then he goes without any more words into his bed. And then you hear, "It's warm." What? and then Humphrey just walks up again to the fire with his bedroll behind him. He looks a very sour face, very very indignated. Like, tries not to make eye contact to Letha, just focusing on getting his mouse piss soaked bedroll dry again, and then sitting awkwardly again, watching the fire, back to Letha, and looking at the bedroll, sniffing like, "Ugh, still smells bad," and huddles up in his cloak, and pretends to sleep, but I think he probably can't. But yeah.
Yeah. I give the
You
mouse.
can give me an exhausted or tired condition if you like, because
I also
Humphrey
think this should be an experience.
yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I think
I
yeah.
wrote,
For
I
both
wrote
of you.
a
Both of you.
suggestion in the chat. So
Yes.
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was mainly for Letha, perhaps, but yeah.
Yeah, contracts are hurtful. I think it would be rather a bond. Letha and I spoke out something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a think about it. I'm happy with however you want to phrase it. However you want to, whatever
Yeah.
angle you want to take with it.
So I think, but maybe Rasmus, if Santiago could take the scar.
Oh,
Basically,
he could.
because you listen
Yeah.
to everything, right? And,
He kind of did.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Is it a scar, or is it more of like a, also like a bond? It's more like a relationship type of thing.
Yeah, for Santiago, I think he feels secretly included, but that's a weird listening thing. But yeah, well,
yeah. That's a cool dynamic.
You could phrase it like that as well, like it's an awkward. There's some sort of awkward thing. Yeah.
awkward knowledge or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also realize what I'm gonna give Letha for a nickname later on.
Okay.
Pardon, what?
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
There's gonna be a
Okay.
nickname.
I haven't said yet. You're gonna see it later on.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll hear it. All right.
All right. So
Thank you. It was great.
let's jump into the watches. There's some dice rolls to be made. So Letha has the first watch. The first roll you're going to be making is a will plus street test, which is for you to stay awake.
Where's Will? Okay, there's Will.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, one
that's
sec.
4.
Let me just show your character sheet to the audience.
Her Will is 2,
Yeah.
and Street also is 2.
Yep. So 2 plus 2.
Yeah, 4 dice. That's a basic.
Okay. You just need a basic to stay awake.
Oh, that's
So that's
good.
fine. And then to be able to pay attention, not get distracted, you need make a caution plus street roll.
Yeah, okay, that's 5 dice for me.
Yep.
Also 1 basic.
Okay. Yep. Do you want to keep that? Do you want to push it?
I'll try and push it.
Or if you fail, you're gonna.
I know. I'm gonna lose it all.
Okay. Yep.
I'm going to lose it all.
Oh, right.
I'm
Okay.
going to lose it all. But that's.
It
I
makes
think
sense
it's
because
kind
you're
of fitting
distracted.
after this.
Yeah.
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 You're very distracted. That's fine because you don't notice when suddenly the bells start ringing, and you
Okay.
just have the sort of presence of mind to grab for your key skit when several roaches just come rushing in on the camp, take advantage of you, you know, maybe you've just like were maybe distractedly like petting the mouse,
Yeah.
you know, not looking around, not paying any attention, and they kind of could sense that you were letting the ball drop somehow. And we're gonna have a quick combat. Quick, potentially quick.
Potentially not.
Combat is always quick in RPGs. Yeah, right.
Yes.
So we're using roaches. Roaches are a basic opponent, so they aren't. Oh,
Ooh.
Ooh.
No.
Shiny swords.
Combat. Yes.
yeah. Because you failed that test, even though so this is kind of a weird thing because the way I kind of had set this up was if you fail to get one of these, like you let your guard down, then they're going to get the jump on you.
Nice.
But the bells should give people a bit of a chance. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a reaction roll because they are kind of rushing you. But because the bells were set up, I think that should be rewarded. I'm going to allow each of you to have a +1 bonus to your reaction test. How's that sound?
Oh yeah.
Also, Humphrey was not sleeping, as I said, but he was also in his mind, so he wouldn't have paid attention.
You were kind of, weren't you kind of like lying down though?
No, I was sitting at the fire, just
Okay, all right.
watching and pretending to be asleep, but well.
Okay,
way too much
pretending to be
into his own
asleep though.
thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, just sitting there like and
Yeah.
But way too.
So you won't take the exhausted condition until the morning, just to let you know. Okay. So right now you're not exhausted, but that will come into play in the morning.
Oh, when we need you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tired, right? It's anyway. Come, we let's.
So the roaches come. They're jumping onto you, or they're trying to jump onto you. So, as they're trying to like grab onto you, you're gonna be reacting with dexterity.
That is my strong suit.
So if we look very quickly across all of you, dexterity sits under street. So it's going to be a street plus dexterity roll. So that's 3 for Letha, Humphrey has 4, and Santiago has 5. And remember, you get a +1 to this because the bells gave you a little bit of a warning.
Yeah.
Technical question: does this involve my dueling weapon?
Not yet, because you're just trying to get out of the way. You're kind of this is like dodging. You're dodging out of the way.
Yeah.
So 1 extra dice for all these, and you just need a basic success because you need 2 basic successes. Because there's two. They count as double trouble. So the difficulty goes from being basic to being basic 2.
Okay.
How about 1 basic and 1 critical?
Yeah, I mean
3 of a kind.
that's definitely enough. Yep.
Oh yeah, those are 2 basic successes. Amazing.
Okay.
I have a none.
Nothing.
So
All
it's
right.
kind of I'm just screaming out bollocks and fall over.
You're too deep into Snotty's fur and can't hear that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna very quickly double check because I've got for some reason outgunned in my head, and I just need to check.
Wonder why.
You can use the extra successes to counterattack, so that allows Santiago to do a counterattack, and you deal stress to them. You suffer an amount of stress determined by the opponent's difficulty. Okay, so Carmen, Letha is going to take 2 stress because the 2 basic basically means 2 stress.
Yeah, marked it on my sheet.
the counterattack basically what I think what let me just double check this again, but I think it just said you can use extra successes to counterattack the opponent and deal stress, to defend a friend, or to take extra actions. So you could theoretically defend Letha. Or
me, or
you could, yeah.
You.
Yeah,
I
yes.
only have 2.
Then I'll throw.
So you have a choice of either
my...
doing some damage to them or to kind of helping. And because if you think about it, you basically got 2 basic successes on top of it, because a critical counts as 3 successes.
Yeah.
So you have the counts as 3 basic successes, and you rolled also an additional basic success. So you basically have like the equivalent of 4. So you could spend those 2 to defend Letha and prevent her from taking any stress, or you could deal 1 damage back to them, because that's you getting the 2 basic successes that you need to deal 1 point of damage.
Santiago is in his heart a community guy, but he likes to think of himself as the hero. And in his mind, he would attack them, but his instinct is to protect his friends. So I think he will wake up, throw his boots or something at the one going for Letha, and then roll out of the way from the one attacking him. Is that distracting enough?
Yeah, so I mean, you're not taking any damage yourself because you had enough, and you throwing your boots just managed to distract or push that roach away from Letha just as about to grab onto her. So Letha doesn't take any stress damage.
Yeah, put it back.
So so that's the reaction phase, or the reaction turn. Now we go to yourselves for your actions yourselves. So you all choose what you're going to do, and I believe there's a menu of things you can look at, but basically just think of it in terms of a normal role-playing game. What kind of things do you want to be doing? Attacking, shooting, that sort of thing, I would imagine.
Lancetta stabbing. That is what Santiago does.
Let's hear what everyone's intent is, what they want to be doing. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So Humphrey would have let his heavy keysket with his stuff, because he laid it down there, was because he wanted to go to sleep, and then the mouse pee on the blanket roll, and then he went back to the fire with the blanket roll, but not with his keysket, and now he jumps up, avoids pulls back his foot from a cockroach trying to bite him, and he just sees the cockroach approaching Letha and getting distracted by a flying boot. And I think, like, driven by guilt, Yngwie would try to run up to the cockroach attacking Letha and try to kick it away, because he doesn't have his thing. It's just like very.
There's one other thing you could do, which I forgot to mention the last time, which is you can look for a weak spot as well. Anybody can do that.
Oh yeah.
He's now in.
Nope, fine. Yeah. So that's
we did that last
fight action basically.
It's a basic, exactly. And what's Letha doing? Shooting?
I have my weapon with me.
You do.
So I would like to actually. So anyone can look for a weak spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an investigation plus war test. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, Letha, you got.
Santiago did that to the spider, if you remember.
Yeah, I don't have it for free. It's an ace.
It's an auto success. I meant, yeah.
Yeah, but it's an ace.
You have to spend the ace to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, but first I would actually try and find out a weak spot while I get my bearings again, because I feel like, getting jumped like this, she wouldn't be ready out of a sudden. So I would take the turn to actually assess the situation and find out what weaknesses this might have.
Okay. So so I've got the three of you what your intents are. So let's start with, I think starting with the weak spot makes a bit more sense to me. But because this is all happening simultaneously, if you find the weak spot, it's not going to apply to the other 2 rolls this action. It'll take place from the next one. So you're spending the time this action to find the weak spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe by looking at what the other 2 were doing. In fact, maybe it makes sense for them to go first and for you to go last.
Oh, yeah.
That might make more narrative sense. So let's start with I think I want to start with Santiago, because he's the one who's immediately reacted. Like, you rolled out of the way, you threw a boot, you're right in the middle of the action. Whereas I see Humphrey as being a little bit more, having maybe a little bit more space around him, kind of. Like, you're kind of avoiding one and gaining the attention of a second one. So you're kind of like in the thick of it more. So why don't you give me? You definitely have your hand on your lancetta, we can say as well.
Well, I'm guessing he's sleeping with his son. So he's throwing a boot, holding his hand on the lancet, rolling out, drawing it from the scabbard, and just letting the scabbard fly out of picture.
Oh yeah.
And then he's going stab.
Okay, love it.
And it's a war, or is it something else?
Look, give me a second, because I want to just have a look at your character sheet, because I believe you can also use some one of your traits as well. You've got the sword fighter trait, which definitely comes into play here.
We re-rolled.
Yeah,
that's all actions. Yeah.
You have a condition of hurt, which was from the last session. That's cleared because there's a couple of weeks that went past. So definitely don't.
I took that away now.
War is definitely what you're rolling, and it's war plus fight, which is what you're maxed out in.
So that's 6 dice.
And hold on. I think with your lancetta, you don't get any bonuses to your roll with it. No,
I did that wrong the first session we had.
Yeah, it does. It applies to the key skets, but it doesn't apply to the lancetta. Okay.
No, not even my father's heirloom. Just a crappy lancetta. Okay. 2 basic, and I'm not gonna.
2 basic
reroll.
is
right.
The 2 you do get a free reroll, so there's absolutely use it, because you won't lose anything if you don't get anything better.
2 basic, nothing extra.
Okay. That's enough to do like 1 amount of damage, because that's the target. That's your target difficulty. So they take one skill. Sorry, 1 stress. Okay. And it's going to be exactly the same roll from Humphrey.
Okay. So I want to take a fight roll, because I want to do in close combat.
Yeah.
And I would like to invoke my freshly gained experience, my bond. Letha had her own burden to bear. And like a little bit tripped by guilt, I throw myself recklessly and just try to kick the roach away from Letha. And this would give me 1 bonus die, I suppose.
Yep.
And so I looked at the character sheet, but zoned a little bit out. So do I get any Mali, any minus?
Nope.
Do I just okay? All right. So these are 5, 6 dollars. All right. Okay, this is 1 basic success, and I wish to reroll. Those roaches are not large, right?
1 second. Let me have a quick look. No, they're not large. Nope.
You're master, and okay. This is a critical. So 3 of a kind. It's a critical, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And
Okay. So you also do one damage, and there's an additional basic success included in that, which I guess we can pass on to Letha's test look for a weak spot.
Yes, or for a reaction roll on the next turn. So Carmen can
either one. There's a +1
your
floating around. We can treat it as like a momentum almost.
Okay.
Do you want to save it for your reaction roll?
Well, I would like to assess the weak spot for it.
And you've got a very bad dice pool here, so I think maybe it makes sense for.
Yeah.
at the
And
bonus level.
I like that she's watching. She's kind of looking at what you're doing, trying to find their weak spot.
Mhm.
So it kind of, I think,
Yeah.
narratively flows well into that as well. So
Just-
in.
Yeah, I imagine just Humphrey running there and just trying to flip the cockroach over by a kick, but it's not strong enough, and the cockroach and just falls back on its legs and just hisses at Humphrey and
I mean, definitely do damage, right? You've
turns
done
towards
done
him.
one stress to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kicked the cockroach in the belly, but
Yeah.
I did not topple it over and put it.
There's like
out
a
of the-
cracking. There's like
out
a
of the-
crack sound when it happens too.
Yeah. Sure.
So
some-
chitin, or however you pronounce that word, has been
Yeah.
potentially cracked or something.
A little
Okay.
bit of gooey, sticky goo at my boot tip. Yeah. And
Yeah.
hisses and maybe turns to me, so Letha has a little bit of time to assess.
Yep. So we said investigation plus war. So that for you is a 3 dice pool, but you get a +1 from the sort of momentum, if you will, carrying over from Humphrey. So
Yeah.
that's 4.
All right. Let's see what it gets. That is a critical.
Oh.
Yes. Hell
That
yeah.
is three
And
of a kind.
the difficulty is related to the difficulty of the opponent, so it's 2 basics, so that's definitely enough. I now have to look up the weeks. In fact, I think I copied it into my OneNote thing. Let me just have a quick look if I've got that somewhere. Search notebook for weak spot. Yes, I did. I got it. All right. So you need to roll d6 twice. Once is for which table I'm using, and the second one is for which entry in the table. It's basically a d66,
Alright.
like a d36 table.
Yeah. So the first one is a 4,
Okay, yep.
and the second one is a 5.
Okay. You can cause something to fall on the opponent with a roll in shoot plus war. If you're successful,
I like
the
the-
opponent fills in 2 stress boxes.
There are those Christmas
Baubles or
bubbles,
Balls?
yeah, those Christmas bubbles hanging around in the tree, right? So maybe
Not, I mean, not
No,
tons
not-
of them, but
not
maybe the maybe there is one nearby. Yeah, and there's
Yeah, or
you
like-
can
like
see that
the
they're kind of
upper start.
scurrying under it. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
maybe
Okay.
maybe something like this.
I
Yeah,
did
I
this
like that.
once very successfully.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
You did have something similar.
Yeah.
You did, yes.
Yeah.
Was it
It's
was
the
it
lever
exactly the
move.
same one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we had that in session 1 when I set
Wow, interesting.
Juliet on fire.
So 18
Yes.
different possibilities for a weak spot. That's the same one.
Yeah.
rolled.
No,
And I
no,
get-
that's what was the weak spot. Oh, the weak spot was on
fire, the
big
lantern.
bad, Yeah, the
Yeah.
lantern, exactly the
Yeah.
same. Wow.
That's true.
It was
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So that's what the weak spot is. So that's the end of the
Yeah.
action turns. So
Mhm.
that was a very good first round because basically everybody succeeded. We're doing the reactions now, and there's like a little bit of an addition from your weak spot with the momentum. So I'll let you use that for your reaction, Letha. And I'm gonna go with looking at the different actions they can take. I think I'm gonna go with the one where you have to roll strength. So they're jumping onto you, trying to push you down.
All right.
Okay. So if we look at your character sheets again, and we look at what strength is, everybody has to roll strength.
Strength.
Strength is under war.
Yep.
Oh, Letha.
Ugh.
Yeah, Letha is
Wow.
Oh,
And actually, Santiago's not too great either. But remember,
yeah, Humphrey
Letha gets a
would-
+1. Letha gets a +1.
yeah, Humphrey
Yeah.
would I would play my move, take cover, and
Yeah, which of your...
spend my ace of spades,
Okay, yeah.
and just Humphrey in the midst of those 2 cockroaches says, "Lisa, duck!" And either you and a friend hide quickly, and/or a friend automatically dodge some bullets, an attack or a move of a large, huge, giant, or flying opponent, which is basically an attack from the roaches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Large,
so,
huge,
yeah, it could
giant,
be-
or flying. I mean, they're kind of below the level of all those. They don't... But, I mean, for sure you can use it here, too.
Oh, okay. Also only concerning the move, but also the attack. Okay.
an attack or a move of. So this is their move. Oh no, their move is the last. Sorry. They have their own special moves, which is not applying right now. So this is just a normal attack.
Okay.
So you and
yes.
Letha don't even need to make a roll here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I could give it to Santiago as well instead of myself, but
You could, I guess it says you and a friend hide quickly, or you and a friend automatically dodge. So it's like it's always involving you, that you're helping one other person to take cover.
Yeah,
so are you gonna help
so
Letha, or are you gonna help Santiago?
Yeah, I would help Letha, but
Yeah.
I have to.
Okay.
I have to help myself as well, sadly. So I would have helped Santiago.
I
Otherwise.
sadly have to take no damage this round. So Santiago needs to make a roll, strength roll, please.
Yeah, well, I rolled my 3 dice and no successes. Is this in combat? Can I use my?
This is definitely in
free
combat. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I use my free reroll there, or have you used it already?
It does say as well as for action or reaction rolls in combat, and you have your sword. Yeah. So definitely you can use it here for a free reroll. So you can reroll all the dice. Nothing is lost.
Yeah. I roll a 5, a 4, and a 6.
The second time.
So, yeah.
I know it's kind of like Yahtzee dice, but unfortunately straights aren't a thing. So
nope. I totally get that.
You take then 2 stress.
Oh, ouch! And okay, I can't stop that from my physical thingy. No.
Well, you have your contract, your concession of being unbleeding, right? Once per session, you can call on your extremely fast regeneration power to avoid suffering the hurt, poison, sick, or drunk condition, or to avoid suffering stress as a consequence of an attack or other physical danger. So if you use it now,
I'll take though. No, I'll take the 2 stress.
Yeah, I mean, you're only ever going to be taking 2 stress from these roaches.
Okay, I will take.
It won't ever be more
close
than
to
that.
the boarding. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take. Blood is cool.
Blood is cool. You've been
black
blooded.
And sticky. Yeah.
Okay, so that's that reaction roll down. They were trying to jump onto you. So one lands on you. You try and get your lancetta up, but you just can't quite, you just can't quite kind of get the angle, and you're trying to like stop it from its mandibles from like ripping your throat out, and it does manage to kind of tear at you a little bit, and it's pressing down on you. So you're definitely stressed by this. It's now action turns for everyone. So bearing in mind that there's a weak spot that's been revealed, what do all of you want to do? And I think now we also say Humphrey has reached his key sked as well, right?
Oh no, I'm still standing there. I would yell.
Okay.
Miss Summers, my key sked.
Okay. I kind of assumed when you're taking cover that you were going to be taking cover, like rushing to.
Oh yeah, I could have. Yeah. I could have jumped like.
I'm happy for you to have done that. So you've got it now.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Gwen and Snotty.
Yeah.
I think I like that Gwen Snotty. Gwen is just going to be kind of trying to like stay quietly out of the way for now. As the roaches are focusing on the others, maybe. I don't want to really roll for her too much because I see her as a supporting character. And the same with Snotty. I think Snotty is probably running for cover, just running away.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the roaches are going for the easy prey right now. Well, easy. Gwen's the easy prey, I guess, but they're more drawn to the action at the moment.
Yeah.
So, what are the 3 of you doing?
I would love to exploit the weak spot and bring down some Christmas ornaments, which are probably made of glass, and I could just shoot them into splinters that might impale one of the cockroaches.
Okay. Yep.
I'll sort of kneel down on one knee and try to shoot off the cockroach I kicked earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Santiago is push off and stab. Push the one off him and stab it, or just stab it.
Yeah. So
visually, it's better too.
It's still going to be the same dice rolls you've been making. For Santiago, so it's going to be a fight plus war. Let's do that one first.
Yeah. And now it's not +1, right? It's only
no +1, but you still get the free reroll for your trait of sword fighter.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just double checking so I don't do anything bad here.
Yeah, so 6
War
dice.
and fight. That's 6 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, the luck is back. I'm gonna be.
What have you rolled?
I rolled a critical, but I have 3 dice extra. So, and I have 3 reroll.
Free
Yes.
reroll, of course. Yeah.
Oh, 4 of a kind. Is that good?
Yeah.
Maybe.
4 of a kind is, I can't even remember what it's called. Extreme success, I believe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Off the top of
so.
my head.
Yeah.
Epic or
yeah.
something like this.
No, I think it's extreme is what it's called. So it's basically worth 3 criticals. And a critical is
Whoa.
worth 3 basic.
Yeah. So 9.
So basically you've rolled like 9 basics.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well,
Overkill.
I'm guessing it's a bit hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You kill the one that was on you, and maybe there's another one running towards Gwen, we can say, because you're probably near
Oh, yeah.
Gwen,
That's nice.
and you just
Yeah,
like
and I'll-
skewer it somehow or stab it, like just as it's maybe leaping at her, you just like take it in midair,
Oh yeah.
and she's watching you like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is definitely going in her
and she,
in her memoir.
He's going and then looking over to her and winking.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I want Carmen to go next just because the roaches are almost finished, and I want the weak spot potentially to be
Yes.
used. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure, of
Jakob?
course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Are you tracking bullets as well, by the way?
No, we don't have to, you said.
Yeah.
Only if we had like
Yeah, I can't remember how it worked.
if there is
Anyway,
anything that makes us lose ammunition, and Humphrey also has extra ammunition from
Okay.
Yeah.
the Gustavs.
Okay. So
Like I think it was said like it's only a thing we do when it's kind of really fitting the situation, when it
Okay.
adds
Yeah.
extra tension, I think.
okay. So for this one, it did specifically say war plus shoot rather than street plus shoot. So you're
Yeah.
not quite at the full 6, 6 dice. You got 5.
Right.
But you do have sharpshooter, so you get a free.
I
You do
do.
get a free
I get a
reroll
free reroll.
on this attack.
Yes.
So go ahead and give me. You're going to need 2 basics to succeed. So
Yeah, well, I have a critical already, and just
Okay.
for funsies, I'm going to push the 2 other
sure.
die, just to see because it's free. No, it's a critical. It stays
Okay.
like that.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things that happens is, I mean, you've filled up their stress bar, and they do have. This is one thing I always need to check on because I kind of always forget. They have like these special. One of their stress
yeah.
boxes has like a squiggly bit around it, which is when they get to do a move. And that's when their stress reaches a crucial box, and that's happened, but I believe it's a reaction. So I just need to check on that very quickly. I'm just explaining it for those of you who are watching and know nothing about the rules. This is kind of how it works, and they have. Okay. Can one of you, let's have Jakob roll a d6, please.
All right, sure.
I need to know if it's odd or even.
It's even. It's a 6 even.
Okay. So you shoot this like basically like an outdoor chandelier, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it falls, and it like just shatters, and it falls on the remaining, let's say the last remaining roach, and it just like some of the shards just kind of like impale it a bit, manage to get through its carapace, through its chitin, and kill it. However, the roaches have a move called They Just Keep Coming. It's on their last stress box, and if you roll an even, then more come, and the combat starts from the beginning again.
Oh, one from the beginning on. You're welcome,
So-
everyone.
Maybe it's the gunshot. Maybe it's the gunshot. You're not sure, but all of a sudden there are another like 4 roaches that just kind of peek over the edge, and there's time now for Humphrey to take his shot.
Yeah, he's just like he takes aim at the remaining cockroach, then the Christmas ball just falls and impales the cockroach, and he slowly lowers his keysket and like, I would have hit that. and
And then
Then
over a
he's-
branch comes more.
yes, and then you hear some scuttling and just turns around and glances at the next cockroach jumping out.
Well,
of
how
the
about
undergrowth.
just as you've lowered your keysket, you're kind of looking at the cockroach that's just died. Another cockroach hops from some like height down and lands on top of the dead one.
Yeah, sure.
So you're kind of like, it's dead, but oh no, there's more.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I'll. Yeah, and then
So-
I just go back in position and shoot.
Okay, so give me a street plus shoot roll, please.
So I've got 6 die.
Yeah.
What's it? Oh, this is a critical already, and this is 1 basic again, and I got 1 remaining die, and I
You can
also
get
have
free
a
reroll,
sharpshooter. So
Yep.
I get a free reroll without taking danger of losing
Yep.
any of
Absolutely.
my successes, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Test. So, no. So yeah, it's a critical and a basic. Yeah, which means I probably shoot the cockroach just from the cadaver, and
It's kind of landed and gone. Just take it like right in the face.
yes. And
Okay.
yeah. I
So
do...
remember that the 2 of you now have fired your weapons. So do you remember how the reloading works? Or
I
not?
For
think
me, it
it's
takes a full
dexterity.
round.
Takes a full round, and isn't dexterity
It
even a
takes a
roll?
full,
Isn't
it does take a full
No,
round.
not really. If you want to do it faster, you can do a dexterity roll.
So
it's a skill
it's-
for you, I think.
It's a complex action which requires a full turn and both of your hands.
Yeah.
And you can reload with a critical action roll in dexterity. So if you pass a critical dexterity roll,
Which is, I think, not even possible for me.
hold on a second. Is that
Like, it doesn't
can
really
reload.
make sense for Letha. She's clumsy, and that's totally fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she takes her time.
But don't you also have a move to do with reloading?
No.
Yeah, fast. Oh, Humphrey has it. Fast reload.
Humphrey
has
has
it, yeah.
it, but I don't, which is absolutely in character for her. That's great.
Okay.
So, did I follow that? It's not worth for you to reroll in combat at all, or is it just to take a longer?
Well,
time?
basically, they can just reload. It takes a full action to reload. So
Yeah.
you
So I
can
will
make the
take my next
dexterity
round
test.
the next one.
You can make the dexterity test to try and do it quickly. In which
okay, yep.
case, yeah, you can kind of, I think it's kind of assumed, I think, that you can then fire it as well straight away.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So, is Humphrey going to make... Oh, we're going to do the reaction test first, right? Because we've just finished the
Yes.
attack.
Yes.
So let me have a think about which one I'm going to go for. So again, I have like an option of 6 different ones, and I think
a whole
I'm gonna go
menu.
With... and I like there's 6 of them, so I could roll to make it random, but I also like to mix it up a bit and just pick one that seems sensible. And I think we're gonna go with the roaches size you up, ready to jump at the first move. They've just arrived on the scene. One of them has just been like exploded, so they're just kind of like, okay, hold on. There's a bunch of dead roaches here as well. They're looking for your weak spot almost. So it says to react with caution. So all of you need to make a caution test, please.
Ooh.
Is this involving my my weapon?
Yeah, it's a reaction
No.
roll in combat. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a critical.
Okay, you
Yeah.
needed it. Yep. All right, that's good.
I have two
Okay.
basics.
And I have a critical and a basic.
Oh,
Oops, I'm looking at
Full
Glenn.
house.
So a critical and a basic, a critical and what did Letha have?
Two basics.
Okay, so none of you take any stress, and both the two of you that rolled more than the two basics. So the critical for Jakob is a +1 to your next test, and you can actually use the two basics extra that you got there, Rasmus, to do a counterattack.
Ah,
So you can deal
I
one.
will.
You do one stress to
Yeah.
another one.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a bit too close, so I got another boot.
Well, they're kind
or
of like
something.
they're kind of like scuttling. I can see them
Yeah.
kind of scuttling back and forth around you, trying to find a weak spot.
Yeah.
And maybe one got a little bit too close, and you took its antenna off or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. An antenna is good. Like a.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're back to the action rolls. Letha's is reloading, I assume.
Yes.
Okay. What are Humphrey and Santiago doing? More of the same.
Humphrey would.
Humphrey?
No, Humphrey would charge in with a heavy keysket, which
with
he
this
can
with the
also
blade,
use
the blade part.
yeah,
of it.
with the blade, which you can also use in heavy in combat. Yeah,
I
it's
actually-
heavy sharp two-handed.
I also forgot that you both get a +1 to your shooting because the keysket gives you a +1 itself.
Right.
We'll try and
That was
remember that later.
something-
But I mean, you're
Yeah.
kind of mowing through these guys really, really quickly, so it doesn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They're meant to be pretty easy, even though they've just respawned effectively.
Yeah.
So Humphrey,
Cool.
the sharp, I believe it had something to do with. Well, we'll look it up, I guess. Are you looking up right now?
Yeah, I look it up. The
It's in the equipment
weapon
section.
traits, basically.
Yeah.
So it would be a fight action, I suppose, but just taking a look.
Sharpened, right? No, what would we just say it was?
Sharp and heavy.
Heavy. Sharp and heavy.
Yeah, heavy just means you can use it to break through doors or other
Nice.
items,
And
and
sharp-
sharpened is useful to. It can help, meaning
Yeah,
a
it
+1
Okay.
to cut ropes, molds, mushrooms, and other obstacles. So it won't really come
Yeah,
into
like
play
a
here.
machete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But can't you use it as a.
But you
close
can use it. You can
combat?
also use it
Yeah.
for fighting too. But it doesn't
Yeah,
give you.
yeah.
It doesn't give you a +1.
Yeah, sure.
It's a +1 to shoot.
So yeah, I just do a regular fighting test, and yeah, go back into close combat with the roaches.
Mm-hmm.
Two left, right?
Santiago, you want to go first?
No, you go. You go. I'm just
Oh, okay. Okay.
counting
yeah,
enemies in my head.
Okay. Uh. Yeah, nice. No, nothing.
Nothing.
I can't
Okay.
can't even do a reroll. Yeah, this was. Yeah, I actually wonder how this played out. How this would play out. Basically just Humphrey charging and maybe scraping with the blade over the chitinous armor of the cockroach. Maybe stumbling so his knee is exposed or something like that. For the cockroach to just bite it in the next turn, something like that. Maybe.
Okay.
Or yeah. Because it's a
I'm
fumble.
just-
If I don't have any successes, it's like bad things happen, right?
I'm just trying to see that right now because it doesn't actually say that.
Is there a fumble mechanic in this game?
I don't think so.
Isn't that when you react, you might, if you don't react, you get hurt or something like that? No, I'm not sure.
I mean, I've just done a search in the PDF for the word fumble. Nothing's coming up. It might be called something else, but I don't remember seeing that in this game. There's nothing that's cropping up with. It just talks about how much, what it means when you attack an opponent and you succeed.
Okay. No, what not?
And-
Just handle the others, and I'll look it up
Yeah.
in the meantime.
Yeah.
So we can have a.
Yeah,
have a
I
nice
do
flow
kind of like
going.
the idea
Yeah.
because this almost feels a little bit too easy. That maybe because you're rushing in, that maybe you do take some stress because the stress.
Yeah.
The stress builds up, but it's very easy with the rest. It's gonna all go away. But yeah, I guess we should probably do this by the book for
Suffering stress. Whenever you fail an action or reaction roll which results in you suffering stress, you have to fill in a set number of stress boxes on your sheet.
Action or reaction roll.
Basic failure, you suffer 1 stress. Critical failure, you suffer 3 stress.
So it's just 2
Extreme
basic.
failure.
So you're suffering 2 stress.
2 stress. All right. Nasty
Wow.
pasty. Yeah. I think the roach just bites in my leg.
Yeah, you go swinging at it, and it kind of like scuttles out of the way, and you've just like, because it's so heavy, you're kind of it's a bit more nimble than you. Okay, Santiago.
Yeah, I will. I don't really know the positioning of them, but
They're kind of just scuttling all around you, so it's quite easy for you to find.
So I'll sidestep and try to stab the one closest to me.
Closest to Gwen, maybe.
Oh yeah, closest to Gwen, of course. It's my image. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a critical.
Okay, you get a free reroll.
Nice.
Yeah, of course I do. Oh fuck. Sorry, Matt.
Another 4 successes.
4 of a kind and a pair.
Ooh, wow.
So 10 basics.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, they're basically, you basically are a whirlwind, aren't you?
Yeah. Sorry.
Your blood is up.
Nice.
You're trying to impress. You're trying, because you're basically, this is your opportunity to show Gwen that these weren't empty words. You deserve to have something written about you. Look how amazing you are. As you basically spin around and you finish the last of them off. As like Humphrey's just like taking a blow, Letha's like, tamping down the next bullet into her keysket. And you're just like stepping around them, very nimble and quick, and yeah. I love it. However, we also we have to roll again to see if any more arrive again. So why don't you give me a die roll and tell me what you roll?
Letha?
Well, you can do it. You do it, since you just did the spinning around.
Even or odd.
Even.
This could go on all night. We're over the 3-hour mark as well.
Are you having fun, you watchers?
All right. I mean, they're it's like an easy foe, so having them come back is kind of okay. The one thing I did forget about is they do have the nimble trait.
Oh. Okay.
So anyone attacking with 2-handed weapons, firearms, ranged, or throwing weapons all suffer -1. But that's okay, because that cancels out the keysket +1. And it just meant that attack that Humphrey just did with his keysket should have had a -1, but you already failed it anyway, so it's kind of okay. So you've done a whirlwind. You're just pausing, like maybe wiping the blood off on your filthy clothing. And then suddenly you hear more scuttling, or maybe like there's an ominous, like a bell rings, and then a second bell on the other side also rings. And they just keep coming. So we'll have a reaction. We'll have a reaction test. Well, I think we might be able to get through this fairly quickly if we're lucky.
Yeah. Go.
So who wants to do what?
Reactions or
reactions.
Sorry. Reaction.
Yeah, we have
yes,
reaction.
of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for one I haven't done yet. So, the roaches look at you with blank, beady eyes. They don't attack.
Aww.
And that's because they're coming up to the camp, and there's just a pile of dead roaches there.
Oh yeah, okay.
So they're kind of like, oh, this does not look very promising. This does not look like an easy meal. So, but we're straight into the actions.
Oh,
okay. Oh, I would.
Oh.
And
I would like to.
For a purpose, also.
I mean, you could definitely reload now. That probably makes the most sense. While they're not attacking, you can be like, oh, quick.
Yeah, I mean, it took my full turn, so I'm done by now. I didn't I didn't come here to play nice to them, so I will shoot them.
Okay.
Um,
And Humphrey, is Humphrey going to reload, or are you going to do something else?
I would like to maybe throw with my keysket, get it below the belly, and just throw it in the direction of the other ones, like as a warning. Yeah,
Like you're throwing your
irritating them.
keysket at them.
No, the cockroach in front of me. Sorry.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay,
like
interesting.
intimidation, something like this. Yeah, but I don't know how
Okay.
heavy they are. If I can.
I mean,
simply do
they're
this, or if it's just
they're big. They're kind of
yeah. No. I'm gonna reload. Try to quickly.
I imagine them as
Really?
kind of being like the equivalent of like a boar.
Oh
Whoa.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
ooh,
To us.
Oh,
Yeah.
To
oh,
us.
oof, oh.
Yeah.
But like quicker,
Yeah.
but
Never
like
mind.
size wise.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, boars are quick and
Yeah, yeah.
nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work with
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. All right. So
Um,
no, I just
So I mean, theoretically, you could. I would say you probably need to do a strength. You probably have to pass a 2 basic strength test to do that.
yeah.
To
Nah,
like
I would
fling
I
it
would try
far
to
enough.
hastily reload my heavy keysket using dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And something I want to look for a weakness as well, if you can
Okay.
find more. If it's okay or is it bad?
I think maybe it makes sense in this case potentially because they keep coming back. Normally you can
Yeah.
only do it once per opponent or per combat, but
Okay. It felt like
it
a
seems like the
fencing
last
thing
one
to
was
do.
kind of very very situational.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? It might help us speed
what
things up
did
a
it-
bit.
What did I roll then? Was it war and
Inside.
You have to make investigation plus war.
Yeah, investigation plus war.
investigation plus war? That's 4. Okay. Yep. Check.
It says
I'll do that
yeah.
while you go with others.
always remember that each opponent can only have one weak spot, and that this advantage can only be exploited once.
Okay.
But we'll let it slide for this time because I want to speed this combat up.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just make the roll. Have you made the roll already?
I did, yes. But do you want to save it for the last or
Well, I mean,
like last time?
let's do the 2 different rolls here very quickly, and then we'll have Letha do the shots.
I did one basic success.
Okay, that won't
Doesn't
be
really
enough,
help.
unfortunately. You could push
Then
that.
I'll
You may as well push
that
it.
and then it's critical.
Okay, so
Yeah.
roll d6 twice. First one for the table, second one for the entry.
1 and 1. So
Okay.
it's not hanging stuff anymore.
Their footing is precarious. You can attack with strength plus 1. It's like body checking them. So you get a +1 to your strength if you wanna exploit that. Anybody can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll then shout out.
But that-
Tackle them!
That'll be again.
Yeah.
Remember that has to be after this current
Yeah,
action.
yeah. Oh yeah. Last lifetime. Yeah.
Did the dexterity roll succeed?
No.
Okay, so it's gonna take you
Would
full
this
action to reload.
result? Would this result in suffering stress?
No. Nope.
Okay.
It's literally just a test to see if you can very quickly reload, but yeah, I don't think it counts towards stress.
Okay.
And what does Letha do? Let's get your
Yeah,
attack. Remember, your
she-
+1 is unfortunately
It's
cancelled by the
cancelled,
For
I
numbers.
know,
later.
but it's still
Yeah.
6 dice, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, and you get a free reroll too.
Yeah.
course.
That is critical already. Let's re-roll the others. Well, and push it to an extreme.
Okay, so that's 9. Okay, so 9 basics means a lot of damage.
Waiting to 2 line up and shoot.
I don't
both of
think
them?
because this is
No.
narrative. I like the idea more of like they're kind of pausing. They're a bit nervous. You shoot one, and most of the others just turn tail, but there's still like a couple left. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we're not going to roll a third time to see if more come. We're just going to finish it after this combat because of the time.
Hooray!
Yeah. It's maybe getting a little bit repetitive. So we're gonna do the reaction test now from everyone, and
Yeah.
The one I'm going to go with here is I think you're going to be making a will test. The roach's wings flutter in the most disgusting way.
Will.
React with will.
Oh, that's
And
not bad. And it's in
will-
combat.
Will is under war.
War.
Yep. So I think you should all be
that's-
fairly okay with it. Oh, Letha's not so great
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Do I have? This is still in combat, so I do a pre-reroll.
I mean,
Nope.
technically yes, but it's because you're a sword fighter. This is you
Yeah.
not being disgusted by
Nope.
something. So I think maybe in this case it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So no.
Nope. Then I no successes.
Okay.
Yeah, me
Okay.
neither.
I did a critical, right?
You need 2 basics.
Yeah, then I would do a reroll, and I got 1 basic success, so I got a critical now.
Okay.
Those are basically 3, and then I would probably like. Can I give anyone of the others a bonus?
You can help
to-
someone mitigate.
Yeah.
They're basically both going to be taking 2 stress, so you can give one of them to help mitigate some stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of them can only take 1.
Yeah, I think Humphrey's by now in the heat of combat, and yeah, no, he still feels guilty about Letha a little bit, so
Yep.
I think he would shoot the shoot.
We're not shooting. It's more
or
like
shoot.
you're
No, no,
maybe
this is...
maybe you're kind of like because they're fluttering their wings disgustingly. You might be like, ugh, that
You're
old
out of
trick.
bullets. You're
Yeah. It's just like an old.
So you say something good to Letha to help her come through this.
Like an old insider.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's like they're trying to intimidate you with their gross wings, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah.
It doesn't.
Sounds like
That's not scary or something.
sounds like old Joe's hamster shed.
Oh no!
Oh, damn it.
When I read
It
out
always
the
comes
gun.
back to the hamsters.
It
Always the
always comes back
hamsters.
to the hamsters. Yeah.
Old Joe hamster. Beep.
Old Joe's hamster shed.
Alrighty,
Lisa is
alrighty,
trying
alrighty. Let's
to
get.
a loud laugh, and it's just like
Yep.
waiting.
So Santiago takes 2 stress. Letha takes 1 stress.
I'll use my skill, my contract thingy then, and don't take stress this time.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yep. And we're into hopefully the last action round, and then we can finish off these roaches. So what I am definitely knowing what Humphrey's gonna be doing. Bang bang. What does Letha want to do?
I need to reload.
Okay. Yep.
So,
Reload.
yeah, and I'm also not strong, so I can't tackle them or anything.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. And Santiago's gonna charge, I assume.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna tackle them. I'm not strong enough, so I'm gonna stab them.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Your
Oh,
blood is
oh.
up. I see. 2.
Yes.
Hold on. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
throw my keyscape to Letha and just tackle the cockroach in front of me.
Oh, that's
Oh.
smart.
And
I get to
you see
fire.
the-
All right. I like that. I like that.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Do that scene first. That's cooler.
I
And
see.
you've-
I see.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I was gonna say, and Santiago's already had a really cool scene. So
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So Humphrey tosses the keysket to Letha. I won't make Letha
Yeah.
roll dexterity to catch it.
Oh no!
Goes into
That's an ear.
into the undergrowth.
Oh no!
Next session, half of the session is finding Humphrey's keysket again. No, I just Letha, and I throw you the keysket like
Sharpened
yeah.
axe
I
blades
catch it.
away.
yeah.
And I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, lift it, and yeah, I will fire that keysket, but I imagine at a -1 because I'm not used to handling it.
I mean, nah. I mean,
It's a
what is-
superior keysket, Letha, you know.
yeah. I think. I don't know. Like, what does the heavy?
I
What does the
have
heavy mean for it?
very
It just means you can break down doors and stuff. It doesn't have any kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. You've
Alright.
probably shot some before. I mean, maybe one of your brothers preferred a heavy Keysket. It's just that you personally
Oh,
prefer.
no, never, because that is the family feud all about.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then let's
But I'm
definitely go with a
guessing
-1.
Ethan's
Then
going
I'm gonna
backwards
use that.
Victor.
I'm gonna use that as a -1
Yeah.
then for you for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
yeah.
Ugh.
I think it's fitting.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
You're willing to
And Humphrey
use it
would-
because you need to, and it's from Humphrey, and you've just kind of started building a bridge, so you're willing to soil your hands with this disgusting weapon.
Yeah.
Nah, well,
Well, maybe you don't feel that way.
she's not
That's
full
what
of
you're.
prejudice, but she's not practiced with it.
Yeah. -1.
And
Mm.
Humphrey
Okay.
would always be kneeling there from reloading his gun and would try just to kick the cockroach, trying to flip it over as Santiago suggested.
Okay. All right. So
If
let's
I can do this.
we'll do it simultaneously. So why don't you both roll? So you'll be rolling for yours. You'll be rolling fight, I guess.
Mhm. That's the one,
Humphrey,
right?
Humphrey, war plus fight. Yeah. And it's street plus shoot -1
Right.
for Letha.
Okay, that is a critical.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Okay. You do get a free reroll on that as well.
Neither. This is with a free.
Oh, with the
reroll,
free
like,
reroll. Okay.
this is,
Mhm. Yep. How does the tackle go?
I got 2 basics.
All right. That's gonna finish him off. So Santiago is just starting to stalk up to maybe the last one, and it sees. Well, how does your tackle like kill the one you're jumping on?
Well, Humphrey was kneeling while reloading his Keysket and throwing it to Letha, and just flipping his foot below the cockroach, and then just lifting it up so it just whoop, not my tea, just
And then
flipping it on
stamping
the backside, and
Yeah.
and it just lies there. And
So you're not
Humphrey sits
stamping
there
in
on
the
his.
middle.
Yeah, that's what I do when the dust settles. But Humphrey's still sitting there on his butt and
Okay.
the hands on the muddy ground.
So it's not dead; it's just sitting there helpless, trying to right itself, but it just can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very soon it's dead. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then Santiago walks up and said, "Should I or should you?"
Humphrey
your kill,
tries to. Yeah.
It's your kill, my friend.
Humphrey tries to get up, but I think Letha should do her action first.
Oh
And,
yeah, sorry.
Oh, I already did that. I already fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
It's
fired.
good, like,
She's got a critical.
Okay.
She got a
Okay.
critical.
Yeah. I got
Okay.
We're
I
basically
think-
combat is now finished. I'm not gonna make anyone roll another die to see if more
Yes.
come. We're gonna finish there.
I'm gonna. It's an odd.
I believe you.
It is.
Okay.
If you like. And I stand there, look at Santiago, who's this impressive lancetta on his shoulder, and just put my scruffled head on my head again, and look at the helpless, desperate cockroach, and I say,
In that moment, Letha just walks by with a heavy Keysket and the
Yeah,
blade
no.
that is fixed upon it, and she's like,
Stamp.
"Oh, this
Yeah.
is nice, actually."
Oh,
"Ah,
you like the
sweet."
Hello Skits?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I like the precision of mine, but this is some advantage.
Yeah, you see some smile around Humphrey's lips, but he doesn't say anything. He just.
All right.
So that's for a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And we look at the camera to our audience.
Good night.
Yeah,
sleep.
awesome. So we'll stop there. Our next session is gonna be carrying on from basically exactly where we're leaving off, because we haven't reached the destination yet. Jakob, you suggested in the chat that Letha get an ace for the conversation.
Yes, I suppose so.
And I definitely agree. Like I'm just looking at what it says with gaining an ace, and it does say, they are the center of an epic scene. everyone cheers, and I was certainly cheering for that. I thought that was a really good scene. Very good role playing. Really good role playing.
I actually shed a couple of tears. That was
same.
I saw you take your
emotional.
glasses off and rub your eyes. So I wasn't sure if that was what was happening, but
it was
I mean,
beautiful.
Yeah, definitely deserve an ace for that. So, did you spend any aces?
Last time I spent one of mine, actually.
Then you can have that one back.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like the social properly, right? Like a heart ace. This would be most fitting, I suppose.
Oh, that's
Oh, are they
true.
specific?
Because I think it would.
That's true. Yeah.
It
That's
would depend
true.
on the situation, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it does.
Yeah. Actions made in the field of academia should be rewarded with an ace of diamonds. Actions in the field of war with an ace of clubs, and so on. So yeah,
Okay.
you get an ace of hearts.
Yeah, for society.
Yeah, and you can spend
Yeah,
that.
right,
So, looking at your character sheet, let me just show this to the audience as well very quickly. So you have 2 moves which don't use the hearts. But
Exactly.
well, that doesn't mean it's useless. In fact, if we just change on your character sheet and hit the like that, then it becomes available. What that means is you can use this. You can use an ace to gain a +1 to an action or reaction roll, as long as it's within the right academia. The right field.
Mm-hmm.
It says there underneath the 4 options, you can spend an ace to gain +1, only if you're using a field or skill from the same suit. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You can. It says repeat a move, but your moves don't use them, so that doesn't apply. You can remove a condition tied to the ace's suit. So if we look very closely at the conditions, we can see that embarrassed is the one that is tied to society. So if you gain the embarrassed condition, then you could clear that, or you could change the approach after failing an action roll.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
And so that last paragraph on that page says, if you don't pass an action roll, you can play an ace to avoid failure and try again with a new approach. When you do this, you must play an ace of a different suit from the field in which you rolled the failure, and then make a new roll in the field of the ace you played. So that would be like if you're taking a shot and you miss, then maybe there's a way. I mean, it's kind of hard to think about how society plays into fighting monsters, for example. You know, because you're not going to charm or eloquent.
But it could be the Society of the Hunters or the the Guides.
Maybe, yeah. But like Grace might come into play in this particular session as well, or this scenario was the word I was looking for. Yeah, because Grace is also used about keeping your balance, performing feats of acrobatics, etc. So that might be something to bear in mind with it.
Yeah.
Or you could just save it. That it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away.
Yeah.
So you could also wait until we have a more social based session, and then it can come in then. So we're gonna stop there. Thanks everyone. That was a really great session. Lots of good role play. I'm glad I made the decision in my head as the GM to slow things down and let the role play just happen.
Yes.
And I was just happy to sit back and watch that. That was really fun from my perspective too. So,
yeah, absolutely, that felt right.
It does mean that this session is taking a lot longer than it normally should, but I think it's definitely the right call. So for our audience, if you're having fun, if you like this session, let us know in the comments.
Rasmus wants to say something.
Yeah.
Matt, before we end, you were talking a lot about you did a podcast of a book you wrote, and when and where can people find that book?
The book hasn't been published yet. I'll talk about that later. It was part of a backer kit campaign, so a crowdfunding campaign. It was one of the stretch goals, and it's just been, the beta has been released to the backers, but it's not. I don't even think the final version of it has been released yet, so it's not even printed or anything yet. And with the podcast, one of the guys on the podcast was one of my playtesters. So he was involved from the beginning with the development of that book. And so he was kind of an insider, and we waited until it was released to backers before we recorded. And I don't know when that episode's going out either. It might be a month or two away still. But yeah, when it's out, I'll definitely be plugging it on the channel. So yeah.
Exactly. That's why I asked. Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder. Okay. So we won't take up any more time. Thanks very much for watching. And yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks' time. So we're kind of trying to run like clockwork, assuming everyone's nobody's sick. If someone is sick, this is something I have said in the past at the beginning. I will still run the session as long as at least one player is around. So even if 2 people are down, as long as I'm not sick as the GM, then I'll definitely be running something. So 2 weeks' time, catch you then. Thanks, everyone.
All righty.
We'll be there.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.